What's up, everybody? Sorry for being late. I hope you're all having a very, very good day today. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up, or feel free to give it a thumbs down. It's all good. It's all good here on the Second Street Mob. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we're coming at you live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm your host, Trinity, and if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here as well. And guys, this is the place to be. This is the primetime show on Friday nights where you want to make sure that you're here, and if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you don't, you can give it a thumbs down. I really don't give a shit. So now, if this is your first time here, like I said, thank you so much for being here. Now, what I normally do is I go over some of the comic books that I pulled for the week, and then I get in and talk about some of the different topics of things that have happened throughout the week, and just kind of get into whatever other kind of shenanigans might happen, because if you guys have ever been here before, sometimes we get and have a little bit of fun. And as the night goes on, we might get a couple of guests coming on to the channel tonight, and I can guarantee you guys it's going to be a good time. So starting off no different than we usually do, I'm going to get in and start talking about some comic books right here. We're going to start off with, God, what is the name of this one again? Ruby Falls, issue number 2. Sorry guys, I couldn't remember it. Ruby Falls, issue number 2. This book is being written by Ann Nocenti, or is that Nocenti? I watch a lot of cycling, so I think it's probably Nocenti. Flavia Biondi and Lee Lowridge are all the people who did the work on this book. And guys, this is the second one. I did a review of the first issue here on the channel, last month, obviously. And this book is somewhat of it's a murder mystery that took place in a small town. Now, the thing is what's going on in this book is that there was this murder that had happened a long time ago in this small town. Kind of a murder that got covered up, and we can see the main character here in the story. She's a lesbian. I'm gonna just put that out there right now for you. So if that's something you might not be into, hey, I totally understand. That's everybody has their different preferences on what they want to read. Some want to read something like that, some don't. I actually got to tell you, I actually thought this book was pretty decent. This one kind of took a couple steps more towards something I thought it was going to be more in the first issue, and then in this issue we got a little bit more of that. So, and that's just, some of the, how would you say, some of just the lesbian story narrative that's going on in here. Altogether, though, I wouldn't say that there was anything overtly put in here, too agenda-ish. I mean, there are just a couple of situations here, where the girl gets kind of in a fight with her girlfriend, and then when she's actually going out investigating this cold case that had happened, she's going and interviewing some people that had lived there in the town for quite a while, since clear back when when this girl went missing or / murdered. We're not really sure what it is, but through the course of things, in the first issue, we see that the main character's grandmother had gone missing. She ran away from this nursing home that she was staying in after she had went and questioned her about this murder that had happened. And in the meantime, we see kind of at the very end of the story, she actually got into a situation where she pretty much got beat up, got jumped by a couple of guys who told her to stop nosing around in their business. Just some interesting things going on here, guys. And you can see right here, here's at the very beginning, she got her butt kicked, and she's sitting there in this small town with laying down there on the ground where she got knocked out at. And we can see now there are some funny things in this book as she's going to as the police are going to investigate her grandmother's disappearance, and she runs into the cops who are there questioning everybody. And there's this panel here says where the main character here, she says, "Excuse me, officer, Claire's my grandmother. I want to help with the search." And the police tell her, "Don't worry, miss, we'll find her. We've got trained search and rescue men on it." And the other cop turns to her and says, "Be a good citizen and go home." Now I gotta tell you guys, like I like seeing that in a book like this, because it just kind of shows like that's kind of how it is. Honestly, guys, that's how a lot of times like the police would treat people, you know, and things like that. Just some of the funny little things going on here. But then we actually get a glimpse of her grandmother, who had taken away, who actually went and disguised herself and went to this, how would you say, like this old, it looks like an old place, like out in the woods, kind of by this like waterfall. I'm just gonna show you guys because I can't really describe exactly what it is, where she goes to for this thing. And apparently this was a place you can see where she's having these kind of images that going through her head. You know, you got some flashbacks right here of things that had happened in the past, and she goes just to this place, and it's really weird because there's somebody there who actually knows who she is, and you see him talking on this walkie-talkie like, oh, hey, so-and-so is here, and he's communicating with somebody about this lady. So, again, this happens in a small town, and if you're not from a small town, a lot of crazy things happen in small towns, and, you know, people kind of cover things up, or they stay really hush-hush about it. So, just a lot of things going on in this story. I thought it was pretty good, and again, this is only a 4-issue mini-series, and again, if it's not your kind of story, I completely understand that. Now, I actually got lent this book from my local comic book shop, Bases, Cards, and Comics, right here in Lancaster, California. They lent me this book so I could do a review on it, and I'm going to have a full breakdown review coming on that very soon here on the channel. Now, the next one I want to talk about here is this Future Fights by Marvel, is Future Fights... God, what is it? Future Fights First, and this is Crescent, and I want to say this must be EO. I'm just guessing that because I thought it was Crescent and 10, but I think it's EO, just judging by the way everything is written in this book and everything. And guys, you guys have probably seen me do other reviews on the other Future Fight books that have come out. There was Luna Snow, and then there was also White Fox, and they're all written by the same person, and that's Alyssa Wong. And I've got to tell you guys, once again, look at that cover there by In-Hyuk Lee. Or is that Lee In-Hyuk? I'm not for sure. Let's see. I believe it's In-Hyuk Lee. Yeah, In-Hyuk Lee done that cover, and he just does some great covers. And that one's just another beautiful cover done by In-Hyuk Lee. And guys, I've got to tell you that this book right here, of all those ones that I read of the Future Fight First, this is actually one of the best written ones that I've seen as far as the characters are concerned. There's really not a whole lot of silliness in this one. Like I said, before, if you've seen my review of White Fox, I thought that one, yeah, it was a little on the silly side. I mean, again, not like a bad book, but just something, you know, just kind of, I don't know, a little on the more sillier side, and especially than the one that I reviewed, you know, just a couple of weeks ago. That was Luna Snow. That one to me seemed a little bit more silly than even the White Fox one, but altogether, those two issues, like when I say silly, to me, I mean that doesn't mean that they're bad. They're just a little bit silly, and there's nothing wrong with that sometimes. But this one was really good. We get some background on this character, and her name is God. What is her name? Her name is Dan B. Or is it Dan Bai? I probably butchered that, but she's got this. Basically, what happens is her parents both ditched her. Her mother left when she was very young. Her father ended up leaving. Just actually more like disappearing, kind of in the middle of the night while she was like at karate practice. Just some crazy stuff going on there. Some people went to their house to try to, basically like, it looked like they were there to kidnap her father or something. She hid under the bed and she found this artifact, which I believe is the artifact that they were after, that is the mask that she's wearing, which gives her this power. And so she has this bear that follows her around. That's kind of like it's not necessarily follows her around, but it's summoned by like when she puts on the mask, and gives she's been training in martial arts, and she really knows how to kick butt. And I mean, she's not even a teenager. She's a very young girl. And altogether, guys, I gotta say, this one out of all the Future Fight First, this book was actually really good. I like this one. This is one I would actually buy if I was buying these books. And again, thanks to my local comic book shop for lending me that book. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Absolute Carnage, Weapon Plus. This is a tie-in to the Absolute Carnage arc that's going on right now. And this one actually features Weapon H, and what is that? Clayton Cortez is the character. Yeah, Clayton Cortez is in here, and he's actually being called into service. He's been running and hiding. I never read the Weapon H series, but he's been running and hiding with him and his family, and they finally get caught up on. And his mother-in-law actually gets kidnapped by the people who are seeking him out for his services. They want him to basically go out there and find the Carnage symbiote who's out there, obviously killing, trying to get all of the the codices for that are left behind in all of the people that the Carnage or the Venom symbiote take up. He's out there trying to absorb all of them and just get to people and things like that. And here we had this one was actually a pretty good book. We had a pretty good run in. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we're coming at you live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm your host, Trinity, and if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here as well. And guys, this is the place to be. This is the primetime show on Friday nights where you want to make sure that you're here. And if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, you can give it a thumbs down. I really don't give a shit. So, now, if this is your first time here, like I said, thank you so much for being here. Now, what I normally do is I go over some of the comic books that I pulled for the week, and then I get in and talk about some of the different topics of things that have happened throughout the week, and just kind of get into whatever other kind of shenanigans might happen, you know, because if you guys have ever been here before, sometimes we get and have a little bit of fun. And as the night goes on, we might get a couple of guests coming on to the channel. What's up, everybody? Sorry about that. It looks like I just had some technical difficulties there, trying to get everything sorted out. I'm sitting here trying to get Max over here on the stream tonight, guys. And man, I sincerely apologize for that. Man, I don't even know what happened there, guys. But thank you all so much for being here. Man, you guys didn't even see me go crazy in the video that I had all queued up. And it took all this time to get all that set up. And Max, if you're here, I'm probably going to have to use... Hangouts if you want to come on, man. Let me know. I think I just tried to give you a call. You can feel free to give me a call back, or you know, on Hangouts, get a hold of me at 2nd Street Marvel. But I'll go ahead and give this thing a try again. Again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, there was something you guys missed in the video there. Obviously, I was talking about some of the comic books, but I've also got. This on my 1 year anniversary is getting ready to come up here very soon on November 29th. I was gonna do a live stream, just kind of do like a big old thing. We're gonna have a big old party. We're gonna have a good old time. But I'm gonna be doing a giveaway, and I think I may just go ahead and hold that off instead of doing it on the 29th. We're gonna go ahead and do it on November 30th. It's a Saturday instead of a Friday. We can get it started a little bit earlier in the day, and hopefully get some different people to come here onto the channel and take part in the take part in the live stream. You know, if anybody wants to come on my show, you know, I understand I am a crazy ass, and there's a whole lot of people out there, you know, they're probably like, man, I ain't gonna stream with this dude. Were you freaking crazy? Come on now, man. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, I'm going to be having a special guest on tonight, and I'm going to see if I can get a hold of him right now and get this whole thing started off. But yeah, guys, to get entered into that, you're going to have to go. I got a post that I'm going to be putting up on my Instagram here very soon, and we'll get that all set up. But tonight, guys, I'm going to have like I said, going to have this very special guest here on for you. We're gonna get things started here. Let me go ahead and get my headphones put on so we don't get all kinds of feedback and everything. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if I can get ready. Hopefully, I got everything set up right here. Oh man, of course it's not set up right. There we go. What's up, Max? How you doing tonight?
Hey, welcome to Midnight Madness.
Yeah.
Actually, we're on Trailer Park Live, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've been waiting to talk to you.
Yeah, man. How you doing, man?
All right. Just got back into town, dealing with some family stuff.
I totally understand, man. And again, I know one day on my show, I'm sure you were probably busy. I did make mention about what had happened. You know, I didn't put any of your personal stuff out there, but I did send my condolences to you and your family, man. That's
thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
It's a sad day to go through.
There is a lot going on in fandom. I know you're a big advocate of Den of Nerds.
Mm-hmm.
And his Gray Order. So I think, I mean, if you want to go into that, I guess that'd be interesting to talk about. I know he's going on tomorrow. I'm very interested to see what happens.
Yes, definitely. I do want to touch on that. One of the things that, well, first of all, I want to start off before we really get into a whole lot of that. I just wanted to let you all know that in case you guys didn't already know, recently Josh over at the Den of Nerds on Sunday launched a new. It's just basically a thing called the Gray Order, which is I've noticed a lot of people out there that are kind of reacting to it in a way that, I mean, was kind of natural. I mean, I think a lot of us kind of figured going into it, we knew it was going to end up being that way, where people are going to kind of get some misconceptions about the group. Where, I've already seen some people think that it's a group that is out trying to take away from what the Fandom Menace is, or trying to take its members, or trying to get people over, or anything like that. And I can assure you guys, it's not that. I think, like I said, there's a lot of misconceptions about the Gray Order, just the same as there is a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the Fandom Menace. And it's just something that happens when you're having just a group of people, let alone fan movement and something like that. And again, really, all the Great Order is just a positive, focused fans who are being critical yet still remaining positive. And I do know, I even seen a tweet that somebody else had retweeted earlier about from John Talks, where he went out there and he tweeted 3 misconceptions about the Fandom Menace. And like the second one was something about that we're all a bunch of, God, I can't even remember how he put it. Like, we're all a bunch of
Racist, misogynist, homophobic. Every
yeah,
single video.
I guess that kind of sums it up. And a
Yeah.
lot of people feel that way, and I don't feel that way. I mean, there are some of the people, just as there is in any group, where there are people who kind of fit that a little more. But I think overall, just misconceptions going on out there. And like I said, it's not anything that's going against the Fandom Menace. If anything, the whole point was to get everybody together. And when he did the live stream, I think was that on Thursday, I seen a lot of Fandom Menace members in there, and I thought that was a really cool thing to see, because there wasn't really anybody being out of hand or being jerks or anything. And I think for people who don't like the Fandom Menace and don't pay attention to any of the members of the Fandom Menace, kind of got to see that, hey, not all of these people are a bunch of jerks. And I think it just kind of helps go just to show some of those things out there going on in the fandom, because I mean, no matter what part of the fandom you're in, people are always going to have misconceptions. Same whether you're a Raylo shipper, or you're part of the Fandom Menace, or even now if you're part of the Grey Order. And again, Mad Max, if you want to go ahead and tell everybody what your channel is, if nobody here has heard of you, go ahead and
Oh,
introduce yourself.
I'm not good at shilling for my channel. I'm on the internet. I'll find you. um, I respect the Gray Order. I'm kind of at the point now, personally, where I'm just fed up with trying to work with the Menace. I actually think they do more harm than good, and we're getting to a point where it's not Star Wars. They co-op and invade every single fan movement now. I personally, I contribute. I'm not. Some may people may call me a hypocrite. I've done some things in the past. I've left them up. I'm trying to improve myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an easy thing to get caught up seeing those hate clicks come in, but it's nothing. I don't think there's anything positive coming from the Menace of Fandom. I know there's some Menace of Fandom fans watching right now, then it might not be too. So props to Second Street for bringing the Madman on.
Yeah,
I actually recently started my own little group called the Fandom Alliance, and I got inspiration. I get inspiration from fictional characters. Luke, Han, and Leia. They did not have the numbers against Empire. They formed an alliance. And my simple point is, are you for fandom or are you a menace? I think the name actually fits them perfectly. I think it's become a menace to fandom. And I don't want to make blanket statements about every single person in the Fandom Menace, but if you look at the content coming, even if you're against what Disney and all Lucasfilm is doing, it's just it's the best marketing campaign you can have now. So regardless, even if you're for all the points of the Fandom Menace, they're only helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, again, like I understand, I understand what you're saying. I mean, and again, I think it comes down to a thing like I said, a lot of people have misconceptions, and sure, there's a lot of the people out there that and it's funny because I was streaming with LB last night, and he said, he hates the word toxic when it comes down to that, because
Okay.
really that's really not what it is. I mean, I get it's like a lot of it is the negativity, and in a lot of people that negativity does fester and can be, I guess you would say, it's more toxic in the body and on your mind than anything. And I think that's where some people start to get a little bit of a disconnect, or start to get into kind of like you talk a lot about, is kind of like that hate mentality, and completely just get into that. And I've been there before. It's hard to get out of that once you're already
Mhm.
there.
I see
um
that point. Yeah,
and
for
and
sure.
and that's really how, like, toxicity works. You have to get it flushed out of your body. And again, I hang out with and interact with a whole bunch of different, the Fandom Menace members and things like that. And there are some good people out there. And sure, I mean, I think for any of us, we all sometimes do things that they come back to haunt us. Like on the last stream that they did, where Jeremy faces haters, and like you were on there, and then Black Angus ended up showing up there. I actually, I talked about this morning. I kind of felt bad for him,
Yeah,
because he was just there, kind of. He wasn't even like coming at Jeremy hard. He just kind of just aired some grievances, and then Anna came on, and like he kind of got jumped. He kind of got jumped
there
on
was
that live
nothing he
stream.
could have said to come out of that without
Right.
based on circumstances outside, like other things happen, which condolences to her and her family still.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Certainly.
I don't also think that gives you a free pass to do whatever you want here either, because I actually think some of the recent stuff that's been happening on their end, she's been creating a toxic environment as well. Even with I don't know if you've been following the Mahler situation and that big
No.
YouTuber.
No, I don't even know Mahler. I've
It,
never seen the
that's a
stream.
recent development. I'm not going to get a lot of people really like Mahler, but
Mm-hmm.
have an 11-hour stream, even if you don't like the YouTuber, uh, I don't know. I don't want to go into that too much because I don't know everything about it, but it's a recent thing that's happened.
Okay, yeah, and as I was saying, like me, I don't really know a whole lot about that. I've never really heard of Mahler, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, like, like I said, I rock with a few of the Fandom Menace people, and I actually like Anna. I think she's, her channel and everything. I mean, I've never like interacted or anything with her, but I do like her channel, and I like some of her videos. She's one of the channels, one of the few Fandom Menace channels that I'm actually subscribed to. And so occasionally I get on there and see some of her live streams, some of her videos. And a lot of the times, and that's one of the things, like, where people talk about toxicity, and she's one of those people I see doing her videos. I never really see any of that in her videos, any of those kind of negative vibes. I just see her just coming harsh with the criticisms. And I think a lot of it, like I said, I kind of feel like, I almost felt bad for Angus during that stream,
Yeah.
but because I kind of felt like he got jumped. I felt like it was a little out of nowhere, and it seemed like he didn't really know what hit him at the time, just because it's all happening so fast. And I
Right.
know he had lost some subs due to that and everything. And me, I just kind of feel like, hey, if those are the kind of people that are subscribed to you, if they're worried about you having a little bit of discourse with one of the other members, I mean, you probably don't need those people around anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I've lost a lot of those people
yeah,
since I started.
and so I kind of felt bad for him about that. But again, we do bring things on ourselves sometimes, and Angus is a big boy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he does a lot with like the war campaign and all that kind of stuff. Something I don't really follow a whole lot of, but that's kind of what they do. So it is what it is. But altogether, like I said, I mean, I think a lot of times people are like I said, they are pigeonholed. You know, people hold these things against them just because they seen one thing that they didn't like. The same with you. I think you get pigeonholed in a lot of things as well. And I even have, you know, and I've even talked with you about those. I'm usually pretty open with everybody about my feelings and how I feel about stuff. And like, you know, like your videos, you know, I've, you know, you've seen me comment plenty of times on yours where I'm like, dude, like I understand what you're saying, but like you don't have to keep going after Jeremy or Geeks and Gamers or any of the other people, you know. And I see like, you know, like some of the people in your comments, you know, like Odin going into your comments and just some of the different people and
Well,
the
here's why I do it.
mm-hmm.
Just like when this stuff happened, started with Kathy and Ryan, I think they were the biggest issues in Star Wars fandom. Now, I honestly believe, now it's my opinion, that the Menace is the biggest issue in Star Wars fandom right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point of view. So that's why I comment a lot. And I did another video today and no one's watching it. I do try to do other videos, including you. You say don't do it. You only pop up in my videos about them. I mean, but we're busy. I see how you can miss it too, but people
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about it. I also, when I started my channel, I want to cover hard topics regardless of what I think the viewer's going to think. Now, Ryan Johnson's subversion expectations I don't think was good for Star Wars, but I kind of like to do that with my videos and try to really if I get half the people that disagree with me, I think I've done my job in my type of talk because I want to cover the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I want to cover what people want to talk about. I go to another topic and then no one watches it, and I do think this is the most important topic right now is the Fandom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them. I have
Mm-hmm.
friends in them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're definitely relevant, whether I like it or not. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why we need alternatives. I'd like to align with the Gray Order. I take a different stance where I don't just like the Empire. I don't think you can leave them unchecked because the menace is just going to get bigger
Mm-hmm.
unchecked. I respect the way you and the Gray Order are going about it in Den of Nerds. I totally do.
Yeah.
I
And
just I just I my Here's what I think when I created the Fandom Alliance is that we can align ourselves and we can have differences of opinion on how to deal with the menace.
mm-hmm.
You want to take in more balanced view. I want to go straight for it, honestly, because I think it's a problem and I think it's just growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I think one of the things is like there, you know, and a lot of people, you know, have been out there and they even make mention of it a lot too in the fandom is that a lot of people say they're the vocal minority and all that stuff and you know, there's quite a collection of them. I mean, I mean in the larger scheme of things, it's still a minority, but I mean, basically every little group of people is kind of a minority when it comes into the fandoms and things like that. But I mean, overall, I mean, they're being loud and they're making some noise, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I just think that a lot of it is in the methodology in which way you go about doing things and presenting things. And I think, and I've followed plenty of people who go about and talk about these things. I think there's a lot of them out there that are really well stated and you know aren't all that negative all the time. But no matter what, people are still going to look at them and be like, "Oh, they're just part of the Phantom Menace. I don't like them." Ah. And I think that's kind of like the dangerous thing where we always get into just with anybody, just where all those misconceptions come in at because you know you associate with this group, but you know so these people aren't going to like you no matter what, even if you are a good, reasonable, and sensible person. And I think it's just sad. And like I said, you know, the Gray Order isn't. It wasn't created to. It wasn't
Mm,
created to push anybody out or to
yeah.
create a separation or anything like that. And I can say, you know, I've seen even like Gary from Nerdrotic. Again, that's a channel I don't follow him neither. But I do occasionally stop in and watch his videos. A lot of these guys I don't subscribe to, but I go and I occasionally watch their videos and things like that. And For the most part, it's just because a lot of them don't put out consistent content that I like, that I enjoy watching. So the other day I seen one where Nerderotic was talking about Terminator Dark Fate and the woke marketing of it, and everything he said in his in that particular one, because I noticed he did one I think again a day later. I actually watched the first one, which I don't know, I think it was like three days ago, and I listened to it. I'm like, I actually agree with most of his points here. When they were going out marketing the movie, I mean, Tim Miller went out there and said some things in the media and stuff. I mean, not quite Brie Larson level, but he went out there and said some things. I'm like, I totally get how people would feel that way. But when I went to watch the movie, I didn't really notice any of that in there. I mean,
I didn't see it yet. I want to see it. I couldn't see it because I had to leave town quick.
yeah, yeah,
So I Tim Miller's comments to me were tame,
mm-hmm,
and it was very exaggerated. The wokeness they claim. If you really look at the go back to I went and did a video where I went back and looked at the comment.
mm-hmm,
It was pretty tame, and you're gonna want to say that the Terminator can kick anybody's ass and a male's ass too. I don't see that's overly woke. You want to present her as tough. I don't think it's anything new. So it's way overblown to me. I
yeah,
don't think it failed because it's woke. I think it failed because it's the what is it the almost the fourth sequel to Terminator 2,
yeah.
and then they never follow through. Everyone knows they're not going to follow through. Oh, it failed again. Let's try a sequel to Terminator 2 again in a few years.
Right. Yeah, and I feel the same way too. And I think I think there was also things in the marketing too that kind of helped make this movie fail as well. Like they were talking about they're basically not paying attention to any of the sequels that came after Terminator 2. And to me that's like, why would you do that? It seems no matter how much people don't like them, why would you say that, especially when you're essentially making a sequel to the movie you're trying to make a sequel to 28 years later? It just absolutely makes no
Well,
sense.
well, this game plan really worked well for Halloween, but there was a bigger time gap before they ignored the sequels again with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where they got the game plan. They saw how well that worked, bringing her back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, it just was too quick.
Right.
Maybe if they waited longer.
Yeah. And some of the stuff here that I think even with like the Terminator Dark Fate, where some of that is kind of a fail too, is in the fact that if they're trying to, and I was talking about this today. I think it was I even talked about it today. Was they're going through with these movies saying, okay, like these few movies right here, they don't exist. We're doing away with those. But then even something like Pop Culture PP, who is here, thank you so much for being here, and everybody, thank you so much for being here, was saying that it's ridiculous because at the very beginning of the movie, I'm sure you probably already know John Connor dies. I'm sure you probably heard that. He
No,
gets
I didn't. No, I got it spoiled for me earlier. I was trying to avoid it, but I
oh.
saw it somewhere.
Well, yeah. So that happens, and his thing was like it scrubs away the first two movies essentially too. It makes them pointless. Where
Yeah.
and I gotta my argument on that is like it doesn't. And realistically, they didn't even have to go out there and say that the other movies that came after Terminator 2 didn't matter because of exactly what happened in the movie. I mean, you kill John Connor, so it would essentially make all of them pretty much not non-existent or pointless in the first place too. But part of my thing is something I've been talking about is to me it was something interesting when you get into the sci-fi realm, especially like with something like time travel, is just because you avoid one future, there are things going on out there that are inevitable that's going to happen anyway. Just because
Mhm.
they stopped Skynet doesn't mean that Genesis didn't get created or that Legion
Yeah.
didn't get created by somebody else, because it's something that's going on in with that's something similar is happening in the comic books in the X-Men world, where where they basically they're going back and forth in time, but no matter what they do, the X-Men still always lose in the end. And because like in one of these lives, this particular character goes and kills all these people that lead to the creation of the Sentinels, and it still happens. Everything that happens through the advancement of that technology still happens because it's still something that it's the root of the problem. It's not necessarily the creation of the Sentinels themselves. It's when things hit a certain point, and I think that goes into, like I said, some things that are inevitable. Like you just have to. There's certain precautions that have to be taken, and like I said, some things just become unavoidable. But that's really neither here nor there, you know.
I'm still really looking forward to seeing it. I know a lot of people aren't that thrilled about it, but I'm happy to see it. I wish it would actually have gone away from Arnold coming back for every single sequel they try, but I'm glad he's the old Arnold in this. And Linda Hamilton being back, I really want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's by all means, it's not like a great movie. I
Yeah.
won't say that. I would say it's good. It's
Mm-hmm.
not bad. But you know, again, there's so many different things they could have done better, and I mean, it's not a Dark Phoenix. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
It's a step above that.
All right.
But
Cool.
yeah, and again, I mean, just getting back into everything else with that kinds of stuff, you know, like I said, I don't follow a whole lot of you know, the fandom ministers, and you know, I rock with
Mm.
some of them, and I have no problems with a lot of the people there. I have a lot of respect for many of the people that are in the fandom menace, and you know, one of the things, even you know, I've seen some people taking offense, like with Josh's video that he did on Sunday. Apparently, there was some people that was upset. I didn't really look into that stuff because I mean, I'm not going to go digging through videos
Oh,
and things
it
like
was
that.
tame. It was light shots. He could have gone a lot harder.
Well, and
At his
see,
light shots, they overreacted.
yeah, and see, for me, like I watched the video and I didn't see any shots taken. For me,
Yeah.
I just seen him saying. I mean, he actually even said in the video, like, look, people like kind of like what I'm saying, like people take just this fan group and they don't like them just because of Jeremy or just because of Geeks and Gamers or just because of this or that or you know all these different things that people automatically pigeonhole him as. And you know, I think it's a little, I do, I think it's a little unfair to them, just because you associate with the fandom menace, means that you're a bad person, that you're a bigot, that you're a racist, that you're a sexist, that you're, you know, just all those different
Well,
things
oh,
out
okay.
there.
With that point though,
Mm-hmm.
who actually called them that?
Well,
No one at Disney, no one at Lucasfilm. They go
right,
with that point every single video. It's obnoxious.
yeah,
And as much as I don't like Kathy or Ryan, the only one that actually you could say went towards fans hardcore was Chuck Wendig, and they fired him.
mm-hmm.
And I think they should have for that.
Yeah, and
It was too much. That was way too across the line. You can't say that just about Trump supporters as a blanket statement with his comments. But the worst thing, now, Kathy, I think she does have an agenda, but wearing a Forces Female t-shirt is not saying that you're a misogynist. The worst thing that you could make an argument that's saying she's a misandrist.
mm-hmm.
They're stretching these things for 2 years of videos. It's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah, and well, for me, I think that the people that are calling a lot of the people that in the fandom menace, I think a lot of those people are just other fans that are out there that just don't agree
Or
with the fandom
access
menace.
media,
Hmm?
access media,
Right,
and
right,
then the menace of fandom is just the other side of the coin.
yeah, and you know,
They're just going. That's why there's hell.
yeah, and you know,
Both sides are just going back and forth, back and forth.
yeah, and I caught some I can't remember whose video it is. You know, again, sometimes I don't, you know, I just see stuff and I'll click, I'll watch for a few minutes, but where somebody was saying that they felt like the Den of Nerds was shilling for access to the media, for you know, for Disney and all that stuff, and little does that person know that the Den of Nerds has been blacklisted by Disney
Yeah.
already, for a video and some criticisms that Josh has put out there
Here's what
before.
I would love to do. I've tried to have a war council before. I don't know if I could ever happen because I know you like Josh Den of Nerds. There's many reasons to ignore this madman. I'll be honest with you. I've tried to reach out to him, but what I would love to see, and not focus on me, but have a council, a war council. I've tried to do this with the Fandom Collective, but honestly, when things got hot, the only one that would stream with me for the second episode was Angus.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that would still talk to me, and that's when he got the heat on him. So
Right.
I want to try to bring back this idea of a war council, have different fan groups talk together. like have you be as a representative, me, Josh. There's some other groups, and talk it out, and maybe say you're going too hard. You're like you say you're just doing the same thing, or talk it out and have a Star Wars. I would love to see that. I don't think I can get it to happen. I would like to try.
Well,
Star Wars Only is another channel I think is very level headed. Tries to go both sides of the argument. Tries to only deal with facts.
and
I
which
think
channel is that?
huh?
What channel is that?
Star Wars Only. I think you would really appreciate him. He tries to uh, go at the rumors, and I'm a rumor channel, but he tries to really find the facts and examine every issue that's going on in the Star Wars fandom. I think you would really like him. I think he's an important voice for Star Wars, and that's the kind of group I would love to see to get like maybe even if I'm not included, Star Wars Only, Josh from Den of Nerds. I think you're an important voice for fandom. I'd love to hear what you have to say about Comicsgate because of you're so in the comics now, and I think something that you do that's very positive is Comicsgate. The community on YouTube here loves to exaggerate the demise of comics and comic shops. It's happening, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's nowhere near as bad as they say. And I think you prove it with all your reviews of great. I mean, I'm not as I know I'm wearing the mask, but I'm not in the comic. I haven't been in the comics for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Watching some of your stuff, you kind of you spark a little bit and like maybe I should check out comics again. Maybe a Ghost Rider comic.
Yeah, yeah. They
So
just
I
started a
think
new
you're
series.
having a positive view for comics, and I'd love to see what you think about even maybe I don't know if you'd want to review a Comicsgate comic or not, or how you feel about the movement. I don't know if you've even checked it out too much.
I haven't. I haven't really got too much into the whole Comics Gate thing or anything. And I have on one of my streams, I went on and talked about like Comics Gate and stuff like that because I mean I don't know about the comics industry other than reading comic books myself and getting into them, and that's why I started. Well, that's not why I started my channel, but
That's
that's what I
refreshing.
started. I started concentrating on is more comics, and part of that is due to well, I mean, one, I started reading comics more and more, and then one of my favorite creators out there is Young Rip of 59, and then through his channel, I just recently, maybe over the last like month and a half or 2 months, just found your boy Zach, Comics Matter with your boy Zach, and
Mm-hmm.
I really like his channel too. The dude is actually hilarious and cracks me up, and again, I don't know a whole lot about Comicsgate or anything like that, and I want to learn more. And I presented an idea on one of my streams one day, but I mean, I don't know how feasible something like that is because again, I'm not in the comic book industry other than being a consumer. But part of my thing is like I've been reading some of these independent comic books out of channels or out of publishers like Vault Comics, Aftershock Comics. I know Aftershock Comics was founded in, God, I want to say 2015, and Vault was founded in 2016. And they're slowly but surely building up some titles, getting creators out there, and doing that kind of thing. And my whole thing with Comicsgate is like I always kind of felt like if I mean I realize it's probably hard and would take a lot of money to get together, but why wouldn't some of the bigger guys out there try to pull together some funds to start their own publishing line and just start small with maybe one or two titles and go out there? But again, I don't know how hard that is to do because I'm sure it takes a lot of money and it would
Right.
take getting people together and pulling their money together and contracts and all of that crap, and that's probably why a lot of them are going the way of
I think
Indiegogo and
they're
stuff.
afraid of the risk.
Yeah.
I think it would benefit the consumer. That's one of my issues with the Comicsgate. They come together to live stream for funds,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't come together to make it cheaper on the consumer. I
Right.
mean, but they are in their some would argue that they're in their early stages, but it seems like they're just going to go Indiegogo to Indiegogo without a plan. And there's another argument that it's not helping the comic book shops at all,
It's
which is
it's not.
kind of eliminating the go through the comic shops. I mean, eventually we might see uh, some variant of Cyber Frog only for comic shops,
Right.
but
And
it's not there yet.
yeah, and that's the thing too is like I get that part of it is because like that, and that's the one thing why I would like to see that, is for them to do that, to get that distribution through Diamond Distribution and get it out, or they don't even have to go through Diamond and get it out to local comic book shops as well, for that. But I do understand at the same time they have to be able to make money themselves, and I know that I honestly at this point really don't think that Marvel and DC are doing so great that they're raking in the kinds of funds that are. I think they're very much they're hurting. They're
Mm-hmm.
struggling, but they're still making money and they still got a viable product. It's just how are they gonna pull people into that? And like I said, I mean, my hat's off to anybody, any of the people, the creators out there, whether they're Comicsgate, not Comicsgate, any of those independent artists and writers and things out there doing those things. Because you know what? I mean, no matter what, whether something is fledgling, it's failing, or anything, you got to go out and do something. You got to go out and prove people wrong. You got to go out and prove that it can still be done. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I really like and respect. And you know, there was I can't remember what video it was in. It was shortly after I think guy was on a was it on a Cecil stream, because I recently found his channel too. And like I said, I don't follow Comic Artist Pro Secrets neither, but I do like Ethan Van Sciver. He just kind of cracks me up, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a funny dude. But again, his channel, he don't do enough consistent content that I like, that I enjoy watching. But there was a live stream where he was talking. God, you know what? I think that may have been on the stream that you came on there with, where they invited you on there with him. It was that stream. It was where you were there with Ethan Van Sciver, and Jeremy was on there too, and Cecil. Yeah, that was the stream. Like, I was out in my garage working my freight. I own my own business, you know. I run my own business, so I was out in my garage working some freight, and I was listening to that whole stream, and like, because he was asking you about your criticisms about Comicsgate, and you know, you told him, and he kind of, you know, he set the record straight on it, but he just started dropping some knowledge about everything, and like, you know, about why you should support Comicsgate and everything, and like he was just like going. I'm sitting there like, I was sitting there working like, dude, like I kind of got worked up in the sense, like I was like, I got a little emotional. I was kind of teared up, man. I'm like, damn, dude, like drop some knowledge, EVS, like, dude, like he gained a lot. I mean, not that I didn't have
Oh yeah,
a lot of or any respect for him anyway, but like
he
he
took
gave
he
me a
took
lot
criticism
more.
like a champ. He took criticism like a champ.
Yeah, yeah,
The one criticism I have of that stream, he really underplayed the super chat thing though, because there was a time in Comicsgate where every single day they were just sitting on YouTube, and they're not $5, $10 like 50, $100 super chats. So he
right.
kind of underplayed that.
Well,
That was my one criticism, and I think it still did kind of get to the point where it's more beneficial to sit on YouTube than to finish your book, which I could see how it's easy to fall into that trap
right.
because the money's there already for your comic, and and also the fear of it going away.
Mm-hmm.
Because this, I mean, they by saying their Comicsgate, they're never going to get back. They're probably never going to get back in the regular comic industry. So that there's a fear there of not getting back into it.
I,
So
I would
I could
agree.
see that.
I would agree with that, because you know, I think at the and I think they know that, and that's okay. I mean they put themselves in that position again, but and I think they know that, and that's why, like me, I'd have no problem with that. I mean, people want to support them, go and support them. Throw your hard-earned dollars at them, even if you just want to send them super chats and stuff like that. To me, I have no problem with that, because I mean, even like the point he made was, you know, they don't make a whole lot of money when they're making the books, because you know, all the production costs and things like that, and the time they put into it, like everything, the way he broke it down, like I like he like shit, he convinced me to go support a Comicsgate book, but then at that point I'm like, what comics book or what Comicsgate book would I go out there and
I have
buy?
one I've supported so far as Starblades,
Mm-hmm.
which looks really cool, and I was gonna get a Cyberfrog variant, but I didn't just because I was honestly as broke at the
Right.
time. So I might, if another one pops up, I'll probably get that just to give it a shot. I'm more towards not being a fanboy of any group and
Mm-hmm.
just taking everything as it is. Is this quality or not? I think Cyberfrog looks like a quality book, and I think
It does.
Starblades does. So, and then I'll plan on when I honestly when I get some more time, I will plan on watching some of your content, and I want to go to I wanted to go full madman to one of my local comic shops, and one of my plans was to get a Comicsgate comic and see what people in comic shops are thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be cool for you too. I don't know if you'd be willing to do that or if you eventually get one. Be
Mm-hmm.
cool to get real people's responses. Like, look at this.
Right.
I don't know. That might be controversial too to bring it into a comic shop.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's hard to say. Like at my local comic book shop, they're my local comic book shop. They're really cool people. I mean, they're so supportive of me
Yeah, you
doing what
got
I'm
the
doing in the
hookup,
channel.
man.
Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, my local comic book shop is absolutely great. And once I discovered how awesome my local comic book shop was, that's really what kind of made me feel more like pushing more into the comic book content, was because I'm like, man, I like reading these books. My local comic book shop is so great, and I know not every comic book shop out there is as good as mine. I know that for a fact. I've seen that just following some of the
Mhm.
other comic book YouTubers that I do. But for those ones that are out there that are really good, it kind of made me think like, man, we need to get people into reading comics, and I can guarantee you, there's a comic out there for no matter who it is.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been kind of diving more into the indie books, and just even like I would like to support some Comicsgate people. I mean, maybe check out War Campaign is kind of the spin out of that. I'm not against that. Like I just need to know a good book. There is
Mhm.
one independent writer that I went and supported his project, and I actually ran into him at the LA Comic Con a few weeks ago, and that's Preston Poulter over at Pocket Jacks Comics. And now he's not a comics gator, and he's definitely not a comics gator. And as a matter of fact, he's been under attack from a lot of comics gate and
Mhm.
war campaign and stuff like that as well. And again, that's their drama. I'm not really into that, but I
Sure.
went and I backed his White Lily issue 3. I bought it, and then when I seen him there at the and I bought the digital issues of 1 and 2 also. And when I seen him at LA Comic Con, I went ahead and got the physical copies of them, and I got an advanced copy of issue number 4, and I still went ahead and backed it up on Kickstarter just because I read the story, I liked it, and I was like, okay, it's actually pretty cool. And I think maybe I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he wants to come on the channel and just have a discussion about stuff like that too. And but even speaking of like the Comicsgate thing, I've actually even thought about like I guarantee you, Ethan Van Sciver don't know who the hell I am, man. I'm a nobody. But I would even like to, reach out to him and see if he would like to come onto the channel, and just so I could ask him just some of those different things, and kind of get to know him a little bit
You know
better.
what? The best way to approach it, because he responded some responses to me on Twitter, is just say, you know what? I'm a comics fan. I'm new to Comicsgate. I'm interested in it. I'd like to talk to you just as someone looking out from the outside looking in. I'd love to talk to you. Not to put you on the spot, but your
Mm-hmm.
relationship with that comic book shop,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be so cool to see if you. I don't know if they'd be willing to, but like get an interview with them, see what their is, how they feel about the comic industry, how they feel because comic shops are closing,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
they are.
It would be so great to see, especially a thrive. I mean, a great comic shop. I don't know if you could work. I would love to see it just as someone viewing your channel. It might be
Mm-hmm.
hard. I don't want to put you on the spot there either, but I would love to see, or just more of that comic shop because you said it's a great one. Just to roam around, I would love to see that. I don't know if you've done that before.
Yeah, sometimes I shoot videos in my comic shop. I know on Free Comic Book Day we did a live stream there, and I'll tell you like it's probably a little bit different in my local comic book shop than it is in a lot of other parts of the world, because I've talked to my to the owner there, and he's a really cool guy, and he's talked we've talked about the comics industry and some of the shops closing and everything, and he's even said like, hey man, like some of these people just aren't running their businesses right.
Okay,
He's like, they're, like readership has kind of dropped off for like overall across the board, but his shop is still doing good. I mean, he still has
that's
his
cool.
regular readers, people who are doing regular pull lists, and then gets the occasional, speculator in there. And he said, he can like he's been doing it long enough. He's like, I can see a speculator walking through the door. I know who they are when they come in, what they're looking for, and different things like that. And he's been doing it a while. He has a pretty good feel of it. But overall, I mean, I think he's largely been unaffected by a lot of those kinds of things,
Mhm.
to where his insight into it would be somewhat skewed
Okay,
towards what a lot of other comic shops would be. But yeah, you're probably right, and I've been wanting to reach out to him, and just and that's a
I
good
just think,
way.
just
It's a
as
good
a fan
idea.
of your channel, I think it'd be awesome. I don't know if it's hard to say. Just as a fan, as a recommendation of you,
Yeah,
it's hard to say if that could actually happen or not. But I would
yeah.
like to see more of this awesome comic shop.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. And certainly don't be afraid to put me on the spot. Sometimes
Yeah,
I wish more people would. You know what I mean? And cuz it seems like, "Whoa, are you okay? Are you okay?"
yeah, I can't. I'm a little tired, but
I
I
understand,
I,
man.
I want I want I like you a lot. I could have been playing. I've been playing Crash Team Racing. I don't know if you're a gamer too.
Not much. I mean, I just don't have the time
Okay.
for it these days that I
Yeah.
used to.
So something new came out, and I'm doing this instead.
Okay. So now there are a couple things I want to ask you. Like we've already kind of covered just a
Okay.
little bit of like the fandoms and all of that stuff. But I mean, again, and I've asked you this in like some of your videos is like why and this is and this because this is something that I always talk about is like why if you don't like the fandom menace why keep going after them.
I just I keep thinking it's it's the biggest issue in Star Wars fans right now and fandom together. I don't want a blanket statement all of them, but I feel like the majority
Mm-hmm.
of the videos coming out, and some recent things attacking other YouTubers. Some might say, you know what, you're on the online, you're subject to criticism, but
Mm-hmm.
then the fandom menace seems to go after channels that don't do this type of content and try to drag them in this hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jeremy went after Blind Wave. They're just a trailer reaction channel,
Oh,
and
okay.
they had a small conversation that he did. The creator of the channel didn't like Jeremy, and then Jeremy made a whole big video calling them soy boys and shills, and it
Mm-hmm.
just dragged them into this chaos. And it's going after people that aren't prepared to defend themselves, just bringing them into this. And I don't. They go after people a lot like that. Like Anna recently tried to. Um, the Raylo situation. I don't know if you heard about that. She retweeted a Raylo pic and said this is disturbing, even though she liked the artist. But it's kind of like pointing. I think pointing is a big problem on the internet today. We're not harassing them directly, but we're pointing. And even though we're not going to their feed on their social media, it's not harassment if we do it on ours. And I don't believe that. I think it is harassment too if you're making fun of someone. In this recent thing with Mauler, he does 12-hour live streams. He's a
Mm-hmm.
funny guy. He's
Okay.
very funny, but
Mm-hmm.
this other YouTuber deserve it? I don't think just because she makes YouTube videos and she commented on a review and maybe her points weren't that great. It gets past to a point, and then Anna. The reason I criticized her about this recent development is she's a fan of the show, and she
Mm-hmm.
says, "Oh, they were critiquing." Is critiquing for like 11, 12 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really an argument? It's kind of a lame duck argument. It's gone past the point where it's ridiculous.
Right.
To me.
Yeah, and that's fine. I get that. And again, I don't really pay attention to a whole lot of the things out there. Like when and that's why I ask you because like me when I see something I don't like, I and not everything that you don't like should be ignored neither. I'm not saying that,
Mhm.
but a lot of times when I see some of these things out there that I don't like, I just ignore it and I just go on about my way, just like nah, it's no big deal. I mean, for the most part, it doesn't affect me, and sometimes, and I'm sure there's people out there that would say that you or anybody else out there doing it is doing it for attention, to get attention from people, whether that's Fandom Menace or from Jeremy or from Geeks and Gamers or from Odin or whoever the people like that you talk about and things like that, and certainly other people certainly do that for sure. Um, but there are people out there who certainly do those things for attention, and that's why me, like when there's something I dislike, I might touch on it one time, and that's about it, and say okay, I'm done with that. I'm pretty much done with that. And occasionally I mean I may bring it back up again, but things that I'm constantly talking about are things that I actually do care about. Like, I've gone out there, I've been, heck, on Twitter one day, I went out there and I said, fuck the fandom menace. And, and the thing is, like, I rock with a lot of them people. And it's, I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't care about it. And that's ultimately what I think. I think a lot of the people that kind of have got to know me a little bit better are kind of starting to slowly understand about me is that I wouldn't say something like that if I didn't care. Because altogether, like I said, there are a lot of people in the Phantom Menace that I like and respect, and I appreciate what they do. So, like I said, I've met a lot of great people through that, and I kind of uh, I wouldn't say I feel sorry for these people. I really feel sorry for everybody in the whole thing because it's like, guys, come on, like these are just these are movies. These are comic books. We're just fans of this stuff, and we're being assholes to each other for being fans. You don't have to go after other people who are fans for being fans and calling them shills and stuff like that. Like it's okay if somebody likes something. It's like and at this point, and this isn't even just like a thing for like the like fandom menacers point out or anything like that, but it seems like all together now for a lot of people out there. Like I said, this isn't even a fandom menace thing. Like it's not cool to like stuff anymore. You can't like
Oh
anything
no,
anymore. It's
yeah, you
just
can't
not
like anything.
cool. And
Well, here's a point I'd make. If you say everything sucks, a broken, the broken clock is right 2 times a day. Eventually, you're going to be right. So it's
right.
so easy to say everything's horrible, and then it loses the whole fandom loses their credibility because you know what? They're like, yeah, they are toxic. Like if we had a point about the Last Jedi, it's lost now because they're like, oh, they hate everything. Ryan Johnson could actually have been not his trilogy not happen, and then he get it again because they keep jumping on everything. Look, as those fans again, there's that menace of fandom again. So it's become such a joke, we lose all credibility. That's the other point. We have
Right.
no credibility anymore.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is absolute joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Everything's
get you.
horrible. This sucks. What's next? They're actually looking. They're scraping the bot. I'm not looking at the comments. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. I just looked at a comment on there.
uh,
Yeah.
they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, searching for things to hate on for the next hate train. That's all it is. That's a successful YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
This is my criticism of Jeremy. I have a lot of issues with big YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Big YouTubers do this kind of crap. Is he for fans? He's a YouTuber. I don't think it's for fandom. It's just unfortunately it's popular to hate on everything right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, and that's why like I see some of the people actually out there being genuine in their videos, even genuine in their hate and dislike for things. Sometimes you can really see it come through the screen. You can see a real genuine thing there, and sometimes I see it and I'm just like, this just don't feel genuine. And by the way, Pop Culture PB, that's okay. I said in that video, man, it wasn't personal. And hey, man, Pop Culture PB, you set me straight too, man. It's all good, man. And I
I
appreciate you.
don't.
I
Hey,
appreciate
Pop
it.
Culture PB. I don't think he's much of a fan of me either. I don't.
And the thing is like I appreciate him in the fact that he came in and he said some things to me.
Uh,
Back in my comments, I'm like, I appreciate that. Like
yeah.
I don't mind people pushing back. I don't mind I people saying stuff about me and all that kind of stuff. Like that's okay. I'm okay with that. As a matter of fact, I need more of that. I need more of that input, more of that, more people out there, in a way pointing out my mistakes and things as well. Because that's the only way I can improve. That's the only way I can really see what they're seeing and things like that. And again, Pop Culture PB, it wasn't personal. I mean, it might have seemed a little personal. I mean, I may have taken it a little
Well,
too
to
far.
take
I'm
your
willing to admit that.
criticism of my videos at heart, I honestly did, and then
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go your way, and then I'm just like, it hurts.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It actually is like I'm not being myself by not covering this because this is what's on my mind. My Midnight Madness is, and my whole channel was built around rumors, speculation, strong opinions, no matter what I think the audience thinks. And that's what I started, and that's what I want to keep doing. Even if it's the same thing, that's what I'm thinking about. If you're a friend in the room, this is what I'm going to talk to you about. Maybe I should stop talking about them, but that's unfortunately that's what I think is happening in fandom today.
Yeah. And
Just like the Gray Order is I'm happy because it's got more people talking.
mm-hmm.
I personally want to take a harder line against the Menace,
Mm-hmm.
but I would love to align with the Gray Order. I don't know if Josh wants me because I'm a little bit mad as hell. I don't know. Lots of people have kind of ignored this madman. I've tried to reach out to a lot of people, Collider, Grace Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm trying to talk to Josh.
Grace Randolph is Fandom Menace, bruh. Didn't you watch that video?
No way.
Did you watch that video?
Yeah. I think it was Angus.
No, I can't remember who was it that did that video, because it was the same one where the guy put Robert Storms in there as being a Fandom Menacer. He put the Den of Nerds in there, and he put Grace Randolph saying they're all Fandom Menacers. And they had all these things in there. I'm like, like I didn't know Grace Randolph was a Fandom Menacer, man. But like for me, like I would say, like it's not necessarily that. I mean, because I feel like a lot of what you talk about in your videos, where I say like you don't necessarily have to concentrate on just Geeks and Gamers or Jeremy or Odin or anything like that, because
I only concentrate on the people that I think are creating the problems in the fandom.
The bigger people.
I don't talk about EVS as much, and I don't talk about World Class because I think they do a balanced view, and I think every single World Class video is undone by constant shitting of content by Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers of just hate rage, even fake hate rage. He doesn't care about a lot of stuff he talks about. You think he cares about Batwoman or Captain Marvel? I mean, I've personally done a few Captain Marvel videos, and then I stopped myself. I'm not saying I'm innocent. Right. I'm like, what is this shit? What am I doing? Like, I cared at a point, but if I keep continuing, and then I did a lot of Kathy videos, a lot of Ryan Johnson videos, and I stand by them. I probably did too many. I'm trying to improve. I do clickbait too because there's people that spend all their whole day here making videos. It's a way to compete because I do want eyes on my video. Right. I do want people to talk to me. I love people that push back, like you said.
Yeah.
I get just as much joy as someone saying, "Hey, you're absolutely wrong." I love that shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I would like more of that. Like I like in my videos, I like at the end of them, if people ever make it to the end of them, I always tell people, please leave a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. Because I really don't care, but engage. Let me know. Because for me, if I'm getting all thumbs up, I'm doing something wrong. Because I feel there should be somebody out there giving me dislikes. There should be there should be people out there that don't like what I'm doing. That's because I can guarantee you, I don't make content that everybody likes.
I'll get you some dislikes. You have to come on my channel, and I'll say, follow this guy.
Yeah. And
I've got lots of haters on my videos.
Yeah, you do, but you've also got like easily 5 times the subscribers I do too.
I almost had 5K until I started, and you know what? Some people were saying I'm doing this for popularity. If I wanted to be popular, I would have gone with the status quo and gone cozied up to Jeremy because we started at the same time. And I'm not saying I would have been 100K, but I would have probably been like 6, 7, 8K. And if I sent him those sweet super chats and said, "Get me on your stream, give me a shout out to Mad Max Movie Talk," that's what I would have done if I wanted to be popular.
You could always just become a shipper. You could work the other side of it too.
Oh, I'm totally for Raylo now because I don't care a shit about the sequel trilogy. And if someone gets enjoyment out of it, hell, bring on Raylo. I would love to see it. can't wait for those videos. Raylo happened.
Yeah.
Star Wars is dead, and Raylo happened.
Yeah. And yeah, and again, like I said, I mean, I don't know, and that's, I guess that's my biggest criticism of you is like, like I feel like, it's not always, because I feel like it's not only just, Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers and things like that do those kinds of videos, and people that are associated with the Fandom Menace. I see plenty of people out there who are doing that too. I think just a lot, just everybody is kind of focused on the Fandom Menace more than anything, and especially, like some of the bigger channels out there when it comes to that. And that's that's one of the reasons why I like like the Gray Order, Josh, and Den of Nerds, with that kind of stuff is, I mean, he's even pointed that out as well. Like it's been there's been an unfair bias on some of that as well. And before this falls out of my head, there's something else I got to tell you as well.
Okay.
Since I was talking about my videos and how I end them, is I've got to tell you, there's like 3 people out there that I really enjoy their intros for the videos.
Yeah.
Like Young Ripper 59, I'm a huge fan of his, and he's gonna be on the channel on Sunday, guys. By the way, 2
Cool.
p.m. And I'm a huge fan of his. I love his intro, his little animated thing he's got going on. It's pretty cool. The music there, but absolutely love your intro, the whole little music and everything you got going on there. I
Oh,
think your whole
okay.
little intro is great, and I've got to say, another guy I absolutely love his intro. When he uses it these days, Rhodes Rants. If you're listening,
Okay.
bro, I want to
Yeah, I've
hear
heard.
that intro.
People keep telling me about Rhodes. I got to check out more stuff. I'd like to collab with him. I want you on my channel too because these are your viewers. I
Mm-hmm.
think some of my viewers like someone that goes both sides, and I think a lot of my viewers, the ones I have left,
Mm-hmm.
would love your content and your
Yeah.
positivity. So at some point, I would like to get you on my channel because the other thing I'm doing, and I'm not here to sell T-shirts. I go to work. I'm not treating this as a business. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not condemning people that treat this as a business. But other things I'm doing with the Fandom Alliance is I have Fandom Alliance Network,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to have people on all the time and do fan live.
You know, I
And it,
I gotta say, maybe you should change the name because the acronym works pretty good. Fandom Alliance Network. But have you ever thought like maybe like the Fandom Alliance Guild?
okay, no,
I'm
yeah,
just.
real funny. Yeah. Oh, you just ruined it. Someone's gonna say that to me now. Did someone comment that already? The next time I stream, they're gonna say that. Oh, is this the FAG stream?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot, Second Street.
Sorry, I just had to put that out there. I won't take it too far with any of those kind
Okay.
of jokes because I know you're not really into all that kind of stuff, man. But yeah, no, I mean, and that's cool. I mean, I like I said, and I'm just getting back to the intro thing. I just want, yeah, you should definitely go check out Rhodes Rants because he's a cool guy and he's one of the creators that I've touched base with him a couple of times and I actually felt kind of good because he told me in a message one day, and whether he's lying to me or not, and I don't think he would lie to me over something as silly as that, is that I've kind of had an effect on him and helped kind of helped him change a little bit, tweak the knobs on his content a little bit, just like, because I've told him like, man, I've talked on my show here before, not directing it at him, but I even told him too, like you don't have to go with all the hate. It's okay. It's okay to be positive sometimes, and it's okay if you like something or if you think you might like something to not have to hate on it and things like that. And I think, and I'm not sure if that's exactly the change that he was talking about or anything, but I kind of noticed at one point a little bit of change, a little bit of tweaking in his content, and I really started enjoying his content more and more. And when he said that, like I actually felt good. I'm like, man, like that makes me feel good because like I feel like I'm getting through to somebody, and that's ultimately all I want to do. And here on my channel, I mean, I've talked about so many different things. Like there's times like I've gone on like and talked getting out of comic books, getting out of movies. I've gone on, I did several streams at times where I'm talking about kids and how to raise kids, like what's going wrong with our youth today, and leadership and teamwork building and those kinds of things. I had somebody here on my stream one day where I was talking about like leadership and where I used to work at. I used to work for the world's largest big box retailer, and I was talking about the leadership position I was in, and this person was in there talking about like, oh, like I hate that we get these new people and they expect us to train them and all this stuff. And I kind of explained my position where it came to that, and hopefully was able to make hopefully give that person a little bit more insight into the way I feel about it. And those kinds of things, because the person was like, oh, but we get these new people, you go show them what to do and they just don't remember, they just forget and they don't care. And they get frustrated with working with them. And I constantly tell them, but like, you have to get with these people, and you have to constantly you have to beat it into their heads. A lot of us, we need things beaten to our heads. I mean, it takes repetitive things, doing stuff over and over again before you get it right. Like, you go out and see some of the best quarterbacks out there in the league, or wide receivers or running backs in the league. They're not just the best because they're just naturally gifted. I mean, they have to go out there every day. They have their position coaches and run through the drills and do all this stuff and over and over. And I can guarantee you, a coach in that position is sitting there like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I got to do this. But that's what it takes to be successful. And I hope that I shared some of that insight with that person. But they also felt like, well, yeah, I go do this. But then, when there's people out there that we've helped that are just like dead weight, nobody ever does anything. And that's when I told him, I was like, you've probably just got bad leadership where you're at, because I was one of those people where I put people, if you don't want to be motivated and do your job, your ass is going out the door, and it's going to be on your fault, because I'm going to make sure that I do everything I can to help you before you get fired, because
Yeah.
that's not my goal. So,
Uh,
hopefully I shed a little bit of light for that person, because I don't think a lot of people realize that, and there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors that a lot of people don't realize neither. So I just cover so much different stuff, and to hear that feedback from Rhodes, made me feel
yeah.
pretty
I
good.
mean, I still take it to heart for what you said. I just am covering it now because it's gotten it. I think things have increased the tensions,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to do cover. I used to do steelbook reviews. I'm so unhappy with the movie industry right now. I'm going to go back to. I have a huge movie steelbook collection.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to stuff that I've watched in the past, but I still have sealed steelbooks. I just never cracked open. Review them. I did a Blu-ray hunt a few weeks ago. I planned on doing um, a review of Terminator at the theater at a historic theater
Mm-hmm.
and going in full Madman,
Yeah.
uh, which is kind of difficult in this climate. With
Yeah.
so I was going to try to say I had a plan to say I have a sign. It's okay. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a very successful YouTuber. Don't worry. And try to make it funny to
Yeah.
ease tensions. And then I wanted to get reactions from people outside and give their review along with me, reviews with the Madman. It's hard to actually, I think of these things, I want to do it, but it's hard to actually pull it off. That's where my plans were. So I do have other things planned, not just going full hardcore on the against the menace.
Yeah, and that's good. And speaking of like getting you here on the channel, there was something else like I've been thinking about for like the past month or so. Is something I want to do is I want to bring more people onto my channel, because I haven't brought a whole lot of people onto my channel, because I'm picky and bougie and shit like that. So but what I want to do is
Oh,
I,
thank you then.
I want to get more people on here to have some conversations just about these things, because like I said, I rock with anybody, man. Like whether you're a fan of Minister or Raylo shipper, or you're not even a fan of any of this stuff, I want to talk to different people to have different conversations. I want to, like one of the other, I wanted to have Drunk 3PO on tonight. Not with you at the same time, just have a couple different conversations, and ask him about his viewpoints and stuff like that. And I would definitely like to have, and if there's anybody here, I see plenty of people here in the live chats here that are fandom ministers as well in line with that. I would love to have any fandom minister as well on here to share their thoughts and be able to talk about things just like we're talking about as well, because that's ultimately I want to just have conversations with people and share things with that because, like I said,
That
I'm not skewed either way. Like my bias isn't for the Fandom Menace. It's not for the anti-Fandom Menacers or anything like that. I want to bring people on to have those conversations, maybe
it,
break some ice, and then maybe get two people together so we can do something bigger.
to be real honest here, I still like the Fandom Collective. I'm not against them at all.
Mm-hmm.
One of my goals on YouTube, and not to be for me to be a leader, was just to be a part of the War Council, and I still want to do that again. And they don't own the War Council because Angus. Honestly, Angus is the only one. I said let's do this, and Angus is the only one that went live because I made some controversial videos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't think they're happy with. I don't think they hate me. I don't think they're against me, but they're not happy with my content.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to have like a council member that's in the Fandom Menace, maybe a Gray Order council member. I'd like to be included in the conversation. Someone like you that's very level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
B level, which is an extreme against the other side. B level is completely the other way against it. I just came off a stream with them, and I was talking to people that absolutely love the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going back and forth, and it was good conversation. And that's what I want. The hater stream was born out of something that the Fandom Collective, me and Angus started,
Mm-hmm.
is talking to the other side, and they kind of. I like Ryan Kinnell.
Yeah,
I talked to
Ryan's a
him
good guy.
privately on Twitter, but they kind of co-opted that, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take it to the next level. I still don't think they have a lot of diversity of thought in Geeks and Gamers. They have diversity of different type of people, but they're all kind of thinking the same way, at least on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, certainly.
Now the website's different from what I've heard, but
Yeah, and again, I haven't really checked in a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, I've interacted with a lot of guys in the Fandom Collective too, and they're a bunch of great guys as well, and you know they're really
yeah,
good
they
at
are.
helping
But
promote
I mean,
promoting
I don't
videos and
blame
stuff.
them after some of the stuff I've thrown out there. I don't blame them.
Right,
But
right, right.
it just the episode 2 of the War Council did not happen.
Yeah, and you know what? 19K Fox. Let's do it. Give me about say 10 more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get finished up here with uh, with Max here, and then we'll go. I have no problem you coming on 19K Fox. Just send me your email or whatnot so I can send you a Skype invite, and let's have a
Now,
conversation, dude.
I am planning to have a stream tomorrow night after the Gray Order goes on to Ryan Kinnell's.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know. You might be busy. I'm not sure. If you want to stop, even to say stop by for like 5 minutes, say, hey, I'm just checking it out. I'm proud of my boy Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you want to, I'm no pressure. Just hit me on Twitter. But we're planning to have it right after the stream. Even if you want to just come in like a few seconds, so you know what, I'm really happy with the way Josh presented. I think he gave some good criticisms of the Menace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's up to you.
Yeah, and you know, I'm honestly looking forward to that stream tomorrow because I mean, even like we've seen, you know, even towards the end of that last stream, like Jeremy, you know, like he even said, you know, he does have, you know, his personality that he puts out there. He's not wholly like that. And, you know, I've even said to people in the past, like, I'm not like a fan of Geeks and Gamers or Jeremy and his content, but I have a feeling like if I actually met Jeremy in person ever, I have a feeling I'd probably get along with him because he reminds me a lot of my friends and everything from back home, and just the way we talk and interact and everything. Again, I don't think he's a bad guy, and I think he does, you know, put a personality out there, and that's something that we all do when it comes to Facebook, or not Facebook, but YouTube. And I mean, I don't really. I mean, I'm just pretty much myself, and that's why we're not, because I don't fake any of my shit out there, like, and that's why I want some of that harsh and critical feedback from people, because that's why I always look to different viewpoints and everything to take in, because you know I always kind of say like I'm a collection of everybody I've ever interacted with. You know what I mean? Everybody's had their input here, and that's why I am where I'm at in life, and whether it's somebody that likes me or hates me.
Now there's a lot of criticism of me that I'm all persona. Besides the mask, I think this is me, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wear this for a lot of reasons, and reasons I can't even say. But
Right.
beyond that, I feel I'm being genuine. Now I go hard as hell in my videos, but when you have a conversation, you try to listen to the other side. So that's
Right.
why I take it a step back. Um, I'm with you. I want to be as much as I can wearing this mask. I want to be as genuine as I can in my interactions on Twitter, all social media. I think that's the other big issue is fakeness and fronting on, back up your words like you would be talking to the person directly.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that stream. Tomorrow too, because like I said, aside from when you were on there talking to Jeremy. And that I think he was just going at you so hard because you've came at him pretty hard.
Yeah, I
And
did. Yeah.
so I feel that's the only reason because like that he was so hard on you because you notice like Angus came on, Geek in Disguise went on, and some of the other people, and he calmed down. He wasn't so hardcore. And again, I think that's a lot due to you just coming at him so hard, and maybe he wanted to get you a little bit flustered too. And hey, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I think I sit back and then I wait for him to do something else. I don't feel like I'm just doing it constantly without them doing something to trigger it. I think there's something that happens every week with the Menace
Mm-hmm.
that causes an uproar in fandom. Including I like Angus, but I'm not going to go into that. But I don't agree with everything everyone's done either. Um, there's just been there's no respect for other parts of the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
It's Menace or nothing. And the one thing I really was sickened by in the EVS stream, which I liked what he was saying, was he's like, I said, no one likes the Fandom Menace except the Fandom Menace. And he said, that's not a problem. That's a
Right.
freaking huge problem to me because this isn't team sports. This isn't politics. This is fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem with most of the world is team sports with politics. And I don't want that in fandom. You're either if you you either you're in the Fandom Menace or not, and they way they go after other groups. There's no respect to other groups that even existed before them.
Mm-hmm. And I understand your criticism of that, and like me, I can say, I mean, I could disagree with that in the fact that I mean, I interact with a lot of them, and I'm not part of the Fandom Menace, and I've come out outright plenty of times and said I'm not a part of the Fandom Menace. And again, I don't know, maybe just enough of them don't pay attention, or maybe just enough of them actually think I'm an okay guy and know that I don't mean any offense to anybody. I mean, I just like to have conversations with people and see if there's some pushback or see what somebody else has to say. And again, I like it to be in logical, level-headed discussions. And I think that's what we're gonna get tomorrow when Josh and Jeremy get together
Oh
and
yeah,
air out
I'm
the
interested. I hope
grievances.
he doesn't go too softball on him. I want him to give the hard questions to Jeremy. I really hope he does.
I think he's prepared to, but I don't think he's going to do it in a manner in which
No,
they're going to be sitting there just going at it back
right.
and forth like a bunch of children or anything. I think it's going to be
I'm
a
rooting for him. That's all I'm saying. I'm
great
rooting for him.
discussion. Certainly, certainly. All right, cool. All right, yeah, 19K Fox. Send me your email. Send me your email, and I'll get things wrapped up here with Max, and we'll have you on, and let's have a discussion, man. Um,
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I think this went pretty good. I'm honestly tired as hell. It's been
yeah,
a long day at work, but I couldn't I couldn't leave the chance with. I've been wanting to come on your channel for a while. I'm really happy to be here, honestly. Just as a friend talking to a friend. I hope you're my friend. I don't
yeah,
listen to you
hey,
all the time, but
yeah, that's all good. It's not a requisite. It's not a requisite.
yeah. All right.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It was absolutely great to have you on, man. And yeah, I mean, we need to get together again sometime. I'll come on to your channel. We can
I
do some more collabs and everything. It's all good, man.
I need a more exciting background. How ridiculous is it to see me in my dining room? Look, does anyone did anyone notice that or mention it? A lot of people thought I was in my mother's basement for a while when I was screaming crazy.
You know you're
No,
using a green screen and you're in your mother's basement, bruh.
I'm,
It's all good.
I guess that's possible. But no, my wife's upstairs ignoring me because she doesn't like this madness. That's why I go to the internet to bring it. She doesn't want to hear it. That's the secret to my channel, is my wife doesn't want to hear it. Go do it online. Go on the internet and go be crazy.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny.
She
Um,
loves, she likes The Last Jedi. She's going without me.
ah,
I'm boycotting, and she says she was at first we fought about it, and then she's like, I don't want you there. You're gonna ruin it for me. I'm
right?
going to get the biggest, nicest seat, recliner. I'm getting the nicest seat in the house
There you
to
go.
counteract you. I can't. So that's how. Just to give you some behind the scenes of my life.
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I mean, for me, my wife, she don't like the Matrix, and for me, I've kind of thought about, maybe we need to get a divorce here because if you don't like the Matrix, I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure we
No,
can be
we
together.
both like Star Wars when we were dating. It's just I'm a Luke fan, and she doesn't care that much about Luke. So
Oh
she
man.
likes she likes Kylo.
Oh,
She likes
damn.
Ray. I mean, I don't I don't like the trilogy. I didn't necessarily hate the characters when they started in the first one. I thought there could be room for growth. It's just I don't think it's going anywhere that we haven't seen before. I don't think anything's new. Like the new trailer, it's just like put everything that we've ever done before in one trailer. Bring back Palpatine, bring every single chip model, stack them together where it's ridiculous. There's nothing new in it. Remember when you saw a trailer for Star Wars, even the prequels, there was a new battle scene or something, or
Yeah.
new creature that looked exciting. There's nothing there. It's just like put everything we can into the trailer that reminds people of before and nothing new. That's to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all right, so
I'm
I'm
with you.
sorry, I'm going ranting again.
Nah, you're good, man. You're
You're
good.
trying to end it, and I'm extending.
Nah, you're good, man. Again, thanks for coming on. We will get together again soon, and we'll get something done. And yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been a fun
Yeah.
time, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks. I'll just close it out. Bye, everybody. If you haven't smashed the like button, do that on my way out. Bye.
All right, man. Later.
Hey.
All right. Now, so, again, everybody, thank you all so much for being here, man. I greatly appreciate it. I don't really bring many people here on the channel, and that's like I said, guys. I'm kind of picky and stuff, and I kind of realize, like, man, there's so many creators and people out there that have been so supportive of me, and I want to bring more people onto the channel to have some of the conversations like we just had with Max, and sometimes we'll have some tough conversations. That's something else I would definitely like to do because sometimes like I feel like I need to be put under the spotlight as well. You know what I mean? Like somebody put like give me the interrogation, and I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. We'll get 19K Fox on here. And again, I hope you're all doing well. Let's see. We'll get 19K Fox on here. We'll have a little conversation. And I'm sorry, guys, I haven't really been paying too much attention to the chat tonight. I'm usually a little bit better about those kinds of things. Okay. Hope I got the. Okay, yeah, I got it right. So let's see. What's everybody been saying here? Make sure to web down that like button. Dylan O'Connor says it's J.J. Abrams mostly just rips things off from the past. Okay. 19K Fox, do you use Google Hangouts? That's what I have to use. For some reason, my Skype isn't working. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Unknown is unavailable. Okay, let's give this a shot again. Is this thing not working? Okay. Let's try this again. Nathan Snow Jenner check. Oh man, you guys cracked me up, man. And Snowdub and Kermit, I want to get you guys here on the channel again, very very soon. Or get you guys here on the channel all together because you guys are absolutely great. If you guys don't watch, if you guys don't watch Snowdub and Kermit, man, you guys are missing out. Let's see. Oh, 19K Fox says I usually use StreamYard. Yeah, I honestly don't have StreamYard set up. I've never actually used StreamYard at all. Here on my channel, I've always just because I run through OBS, is what I use. And to even run that, that's why I'm wearing the headphones because it's tricky to get everything set up out there. Let's see. I'll give you a try again. Oh, okay, yeah, it's StreamYard. Yeah, I haven't used it. Are you able to use? Use it? I don't know. We'll go ahead and wait. See if he answers here. But okay, there we go. Again, guys, sorry. It just takes no 19K Fox. It's Hangouts through Google Hangouts. For some reason my Skype isn't working neither. And let's see what everybody else here is saying. Let's see, we got Nathan But Game says Dylan probably best to leave it, mate. Tommy's a good guy. Let's see what did I miss here? Dylan O'Connor. It's awesome you have discussion with people you disagree with. One of your mods needs to learn that from you. Oh, why? What's going on? What happened? Let's see. Will Gentry says thanks for popping in on my stream earlier. Meant a lot to me. Yeah, man, I seen that. I didn't get to catch a whole lot of it, and I would definitely. I want to go back and rewatch that because I was hearing some of the things that you were saying in there, man. I mean, we all go through tough times, man. Life isn't easy, bro. You know what I'm saying? And certainly having people there to talk to and gain perspective from is always good. It's always a good thing. Always a good thing. Okay, let's give this a shot again. What do we got here? Okay, there we go. Let's see what else. What else? Man, I know I missed a lot of chats here today, man. I'm sorry, guys. You guys know I'm usually a little bit better about that. Let's see. Perp Minded says Perp Gang is the only movement that matters. That's great. Oh man, we got Yova Rods was here. I know I seen earlier Ryan H from Den of Nerds was here as well, man. That's pretty cool. All right. Let's see where we at. Oh, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh, there we go. How you doing tonight, man?
Great, man. Great. Glad to finally be on, brother.
Yeah. Nice to have you. And I gotta say I put you in a difficult position here, man. You're line skipping. Oh, so how you doing tonight, man?
Great. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Like just here streaming, just figured, wanted to have some conversations. I tried to get Drunk 3PO on, but he's out on you're out on the East Coast too, right?
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, yeah.
And
I just don't sleep. I just don't sleep.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I know he was busy, so probably busy getting some sleep. I know he's up early and everything as well. So I wanted to have him on and just have a conversation as well, and just bring some different people on. But yeah, so what'd you think of? I know you went and seen Terminator: Dark Fate, correct?
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw Terminator. Yes, I did.
And what are your thoughts of it? Because I don't recall. Did I see your? If I can't remember if I seen your review on it or not.
Yeah, I did a 2-minute review on it. I think I guess my biggest problem is you sort of in the first couple minutes crap on the achievements of the first two movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we go through what we go through in the first two movies, and then bam, you kill him, and it's kind of a throwaway line is the reason why. Oh well, Skynet sent Terminator's back, and it's just sort of brushed off, and it happens so quick. And then instead of telling us a new story, you tell us the exact same story. So it's like, man, what the hell? Why'd we go through all that? As the audience going through the journey, the big question is why.
Right.
So that was kind of my big hang up. So that, in a way, it ruined it for me. Now, some of the stuff, I got to say, the whole Grace character, I was surprised. She was actually really good, I think. I think she showed a lot of vulnerability. I like the fact that she was all keyed up when she was fighting a Terminator, but then she would go into like a sleep mode or rest mode, or she was tired. She had to rehydrate and all that. I thought that was cool. I liked Linda Hamilton. I liked the some of the special effects were great. I think I said in my review, 80% of the CGI was awesome. 20% actually just sucked. I mean, it was really, really bad. So there were some good points, but I think it just, when you start the movie off like that, it just kind of, for me, like an old school fan, it kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth.
I think it kind of sounds like you're pulling like they pulled a Force Awakens. Is that?
The Last Jedi. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, no, you're right. It's a combination of both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, like altogether, like I didn't think the movie in itself was terrible. I thought it was an okay movie, and one of my things is I think it's hard to top a movie, let alone make a sequel to a Terminator or a Terminator 2. And I don't think there's anybody out there that was expecting anything better than Terminator or Terminator 2, but something that it was at least more quality than what this movie was.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess that's ultimately the easy stuff. But like, okay, you're a member of the Fandom Menace, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. I didn't get my card in the mail, so I don't know. But I did.
Dude.
I know I'm in a collective. I know that for sure, and I've been like greeted by a lot of the Menacers. So I think I kind of am. I think I'm maybe an honorary member.
All right. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, for the most part, I believe, they all say, it's a state of mind. And if you want to be a member of the Fandom Menace, hey, you're a member of the Fandom Menace. And that's where, like, how do you feel? I mean, have you heard about the Gray Order and what it is?
Yeah. I actually saw the, so I know you're a fan of the Dinner Nerds. And so because you're a fan, I checked them out. And then it was probably a bad introduction. The first thing was the clickbait video he did where he's like, guess who joined the Phantom Menace? I'm like, what? Is this guy joining? Really? That's weird. I click on it. Of course, that's not what happened. He formed his own order. And listen, you want to have a rainbow coalition. You want to have any order you want. I don't care. It's fine. You want to get a group of guys together and have a thing. I mean, that's great. I mean, I think it's awesome. That's what social networking is supposed to be about. But my only issue is when you sort of paint the other side as just, well, they're just the negative side, and then this is the positive side, and we want to be in the middle, and to just paint with that broad brush and say, well, they're just the negative guys. I took issue with that,
Yeah, and see, I think a lot of people kind of, I mean, maybe he kind of misspoke a little bit there, because I mean, a lot of what he's been saying is that a lot of people put them in that category anyway, when he knows there are people out there that aren't. And he's even said that there's other people out there that he does actually watch and follow, that he watches and follows that are part of the Phantom Menace that he don't always agree with, but he does still like some of their content and things like that. And you can see, if you watch some of his videos, you can tell he watches a lot of their videos, just like Doomcock and things like that. He talks about Nerdrotic and some of those different channels as well. So I mean, I think I think a lot of times, like, I kind of feel like a lot of the people in the Phantom Menace felt that like he was coming out as an attack or coming at them to kind of marginalize them in that way. And I think it's not that. It's just he wants to just have a more open dialogue and bring more fans together to have conversations like this. And of course, I'm not on either side here, but he wants to bring more people together to start those conversations. And he did that live stream on Thursday, and I seen a lot of Fandom Menacers in there. And I even commented in there. I'm like, man, it's great to see so many Fandom Menace people in here, because I know some of the people watch them, but I mean, I think it's good for other people that don't like the Fandom Menace and who are fans of the Den of Nerds to see that not everybody that's in this group of people are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
because me overall, I don't feel like there's really I've noticed there's not a whole lot of them that just are assholes, you know. Again, I think it comes down to a thing of people just having misconceptions and not wanting, and that's just the culture today, I guess, is people not wanting to hear each other out. Everybody's always right fighting and things like that, you know.
yeah. Well, that's what Twitter is, right? That's like, I'm going to find somebody that said something and let's pick them apart. And then let's start this battle going back and forth. And at the end of the day, none of it matters.
Right.
That stuff does not matter. I use Twitter because that's what you use, right? To communicate and get your message out and all that. But I'm not into that fighting. I'm not into the Geeks and Gamers live stream where it's haters versus Jeremy. I just don't get off on that. I don't think that that's productive. Right. I like open, honest discussions. So I think where you're coming from too. And I'm not going to speak for anybody but me. Right. And the reason I sort of came into this and sort of doing what I'm doing now is because I felt that I didn't have a group of people or maybe a voice to say, listen, I don't like what's going on with these new movies, being the Star Wars movies. I want to talk about it with people that also maybe they're not the biggest fans of it. That's really my only angle. That's where I was coming from. Right. Because I was, I think you shared, you're a big fan of Collider. Man, I followed them when they were AMC, and it was John Campea in a broom closet, and they had their little show. I mean, is that when you started following them too, or?
I actually only watch John Campea. I don't really watch Collider much.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of like the John Campea show. I mean, not necessarily of him, because there's certainly plenty of things that he says that hell I disagree with. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And you know, and obviously, you know, he's one of those people. He don't mind that. He don't want people to always agree with him either. And I think that's just because a lot of people don't realize that's the way the world is. Like, we don't always agree with each other. I mean, everybody's their own person, and I totally understand. And that's kind of why I started my morning movie chats, is because I know there's people out there that that don't like the John Campea show and probably still want to chop it up and talk about movies. And I just need to get, you know, obviously a bigger audience, and then I need to find a way to get more people's input to have subjects to talk about. Because other than that, it's just me talking about movies, and then sometimes I run out of stuff, and that's why I've even come back to, on some of the morning chats I'll do. On Wednesdays I'm doing the comic book thing and talking more about comics as opposed to that, because you know sometimes it does get a little bit hard. But at the same time, I want to keep doing that live stream every day as a consistency thing, to where at some point YouTube will start pushing that out in the algorithm. But I've also even heard things out there like doing so many live streams can also kill your channel too. It just kind of depends on where you want to take your channel and how you build it and a lot of those things. But I think overall, with the people that come onto my channel and watch the videos, I think that there's more and more people becoming engaged, and it's been gaining traction in some of those ways. Because it's not an easy game. It's not an easy game,
brother. I'm with you. No, it's not. The great thing about me, and I'm not monetized. I'm a long way away from that. Right now, I'm just doing what I want to do. If I like something, I talk about it. I am doing the Batwoman sort of recaps, and for me, that's really some people say, well, if you don't like it, then why are you doing it? You know, and you're just trying to breed. You're just living on the hate, or you're hating on something. I'm not hating on it. Here's my thing. Here's my angle with CW, is I watched The Flash, Arrow religiously until those shows started just to tank, you know. And I never really said anything about it. But for me, Batwoman is like, okay, you've had like, I don't know what, 5 series to get this thing right, and then you bust out the gate with this whole, you know, angle that is just like. I mean, it seemed it was surface level. It was woke. And so I was making fun of the trailers because it was just easy. Honestly, it was easy to make fun of, right? I mean, it was sort of like low hanging fruit, right? It's like, okay, it's, you know, like fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
But then
you do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, it was easy to talk about it because it was kind of easy to pick on, you know, but for me, if this was like the CW's first superhero movie, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's like, you know, they're trying, it's their first thing, but they've been at this game for a while. And the first couple episodes weren't, in my opinion, they were not woke. They weren't. I mean, it was bad writing, and that's really what I focus on as a script, and some of the choices they make, is just is silly, but it wasn't like a woke thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like people are tuning in for whatever reason they want to hear my take on it, so I give it to them, and I'm honest about it. If I don't like it, I say what I don't like, but I think what I need to be fair, what I have to try to do, and I think I've done in the last couple episodes, is offer a different, like, okay, if I bag on what you did here, what's my solution to fix it, right? So you did this. My suggestion is you should have done this. I mean, try to be a little constructive in my teasing, which I think is for the most part is what I'm doing. I'm kind of picking at them a little bit. I'm not trying to rip them apart. I know they get jobs to do, but it's just kind of that's that. But no, I followed my thing with AMC and Collider and all that was I was kind of on the train, and then Last Jedi happens, and then I watched their videos, and they're like, yeah, everything's great. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not great. I want to be able to maybe not rip it apart, but just say I didn't like this or that. But it seemed like it and that was the point that I was introduced to the term of like shill.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then your mind kind of gets open. You're like, it's the Matrix. You're like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on around me. And so I needed some kind of way. I needed somebody to talk to, or at least a video to watch where someone was saying the same things I was saying. Like, there's problems. There's problems. I love Luke Skywalker. I love that character. Love him. Yeah. And I didn't expect him to jump out with like 5 lightsabers and kill everybody, but to be treated with a little more respect. So
yeah.
So that was my whole reason to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, certainly, and yeah, I know what you're saying there too, because that's another thing I don't like neither is if there's a problem, don't act like there's not a problem. If there's a problem, don't tune that out. I mean, don't ignore it, and we gotta still bring attention to those kinds of things when there are issues, because ignoring it is just as bad about being an asshole about it and being super highly critical and just being a hater.
Exactly.
If anything, it's actually probably worse. It's probably actually worse ignoring it and acting like there's like everything's copacetic, and because then nobody hears anything, nobody does anything about it, nobody gets any real feedback with any of those kinds of things neither. Let me ask you this. Okay, so obviously you like Star Wars, and what are your thoughts on the sequel trilogy?
I think that when you start off with a movie like Seven, and to set the stage for you, I was freaked out about it. I think like most people were. Oh, what are we going to see? I had my mom with me, like that Thursday or Friday, whatever it was, and we were all geared up, ready to see it. And we see it, and at first it's like, oh, it's great. But then you start thinking, well, this is kind of a retread, and this is kind of the same old. But what got me really with Seven was that Seven was a lot of the success was based on the promises of 8. 8 was going to tell us where's Luke been. 8 was going to tell us what's the deal with Rey. All these questions, like, and JJ was always been good about that. Like, I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. I'm going to throw a bunch of crap out there and then wait for some other movie to explain it, And so I hated, Han dying. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want him to be, be a deadbeat dad. But for the most part, I'm like, okay, this movie's okay. It's fine. As long as we answer some questions in 8, and then in 9, we have whatever we're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how 8 has retroactively made 7 worse for me. Not that it was complete trash, but
yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand that.
But you know what? I loved Rogue One. I thought that movie was great.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
yep.
Rogue One was good, and I'll be honest, like I actually liked Solo too. But I've kind of jumped on. I've kind of started this my own little hashtag where you got all these crazy people out there with hashtag release the Snyder cut. My thing is hashtag release the Lord Miller cut. That's what I want to see.
That movie. I would love to see that movie.
Drunk 3PO's here. Wow.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Obviously we've seen a lot of discourse, especially The Last Jedi has caused a lot of things as far as Star Wars. There's a lot of people critical of it, don't like it, are against it, boycotting Disney, boycotting Star Wars, and all these kinds of things. And I'm not sure where you're at. I mean, are you going to go watch the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, well, my thing is I love Star Wars, so I've already bought my tickets. I'm going to watch The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to take two of my three sons are going to go with me. Um, my thing with that movie is this: it's like I gave The Rise of Sky, or I gave Episode 8, Last Jedi. I think I bought 5 tickets for that. So I already gave them money. So I'm not going to do any worse by giving this movie some money.
Right.
And in my mind, I just need to sort of see how this ends. I want to put it to bed. Say, okay, I've gone this far. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Yeah, I don't like the way it's going, but I need to see it to know it, and because I'm not going to go on my channel and talk about something that I ain't even seen.
Right.
I mean, I think that's crap. That's BS. That's not right. And I'm not going to speculate endlessly either if I have no intention of watching the damn movie. So I'm going to watch it. I didn't see Solo. I think it was kind of a boycott. It really wasn't. I mean, I didn't want to see it because I didn't really have a desire to see it. It didn't seem like a movie I wanted anyway.
That makes
so
sense.
It was kind of half-hearted boycott, So I was like, whatever. But I'm going to see 9. I am going to watch The Mandalorian, so I'm going to get Disney Plus. I actually canceled HBO Go to get Disney Plus because I still want to give Star Wars a shot.
Right.
But that's kind of where I'm at.
So I've got it now. I guess my next question is this: then is as much as there's a lot of people out there that really at this point they're off board. They're tuned out. They don't want to see it. They hate it and all those kinds of things. Do you think that it's possible? And obviously, I don't think this movie alone will do it. But do you think it's possible to bring any of those people back for them to have, I guess, save Star Wars?
No, I think because, and I know where they're coming from. I see their point. I'm kind of with them. To me, it's almost like you got to make 8 not happen, which you can't do because of the damage that did. I think a lot of the hangups out there in the ether, I know one of mine is Luke and what they did to Luke and all that. And there's no way to undo that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, some of those people you can't reach. Now, I think if they continue to dig back in the time period between 6 and 7, like they're doing with The Mandalorian and in the Kenobi series, I think you can give some of those fans what they wanted originally. But I think going forward, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know if you've got an idea about this. What the hell are they going to do with episode 10? 9's done. They finished this trilogy. Where the hell do they go from here, man?
I think they've got to world build. They've got to start something new. And that's tricky because it's funny because I think we were talking about this yesterday on LB's channel too, and even Lord Callis had come in and said something, is that what they're ultimately going to try to do is pull from the EU to try to do that, and and a lot of people won't be happy about that. I have a feeling a lot of people won't like seeing that. Oh, and for the people there in the chats, MCU and DCEU, we'll get onto some some MCU stuff in just a minute.
Hell yeah, brother.
But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of been something I've been pondering on lately is can they save Star Wars? Is it possible to reel any of those fans back in? And I guess that's where it will take to talking to some people that have more hardcore feelings about it, how they feel about it. Like, and anybody who's here in the chats that's pretty much completely tuned out, feel free, please leave your comments down there. Let us know, can they reel you back in? Can Disney Star Wars reel you back in and make you be a fan again? Or is it a lost cause? So yeah, I see a couple of people in here who aren't normal viewers, and they're asking about MCU. So let's go ahead and talk about some MCU.
Let's go.
Captain Marvel, what'd you think about it?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. My wife did, and my kids did, and I saw the spoiler type stuff. But I'm gonna be fair. I did not watch the film, so I can't. Anything I say is gonna be secondhand.
Okay.
But it was I'm gonna be honest. Also, it was all me kind of being butthurt about the whole freaking the stuff that she said and the wokeness and whatnot, and I was just making my little stand, right? I'm not going to see it. So.
Right. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if people don't want to go see a movie, hey, I have no problem with that. Hell, even if you want to say that you don't want to see it because you think it's trash, hey, I mean, that's just your opinion. That's why you don't want to see it. that's all good.
Yeah.
But calling it trash without having seen it, that's a little bit
That's
different
the thing.
story.
That's another thing. I have no patience for that crap. Be honest. You don't. It doesn't look good, and that's in my mind. That's part of the marketing, trailers. If that doesn't draw you in, well, then that's on them. That's not on you. And then just don't see it. But then don't pretend like you saw it either.
Right. And then so then I've got to ask, okay, because the Brie Larson thing, I know that really got a whole lot of people tuned out in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to that, then that makes me have to ask, like, Chris Evans is out
Yeah.
there on social media, and if you ever follow him, he's one of those people, like, he's like way worse than she is, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, he is.
She just came out and just said some things vocally that really
Mm-hmm.
marginalized some people for the most part, and I think that's why she got such the pushback. But like
Yeah.
for me, my thing is if I was gonna listen to any of these stars and what they thought personally, hell, I probably wouldn't watch any damn movies because some of these people are just deranged.
No, and you're exactly right. But I'm a horrible sexist. I don't know if you know that. I mean, that's what if you're in the Fandom Menace, that's what you. No, I will say this, Trinity. For me, it was what are you doing on film? I mean, yeah, I didn't like her comments, but
Right.
for me, if you look at the character and what they were planning on doing with the character, and then I saw obviously Endgame. I mean, Captain Marvel was the only one I didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
I saw what they did with her in Endgame, and I saw how she was like the messianic freaking angel that sort of just comes in and just is so overpowered that she's not interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my problem with her. Chris Evans, for whatever reason, can put his crazy aside long enough to make a decent character that we can watch on film and get connected to. And I mean, listen, and you're right. You can run through the gamut. Look at directors, look at producers, look at all these people that are just garbage human beings that do bad things, are convicted of bad things. And if you take, and you're right, if you take that stance, you'll never watch another movie again.
Right.
But for me, it was the promise of this character that was going to be all powerful. And then the more I heard about the movie, it's like, oh well, even the word Avengers, the name Avengers comes from her, and it was like, oh man, it's so heavy handed. And then to see that in Endgame also, it's just like, man, you had a good thing going. We had 10 great years,
Right.
and to bring this, you could have done Captain Marvel in a way, same actress, same circumstances, but do it in a way that she wasn't so incredibly overpowered. Thanos had to pull the power gem from the glove to knock her away. I mean, that's just insane.
Right.
We just saw 3 characters we loved. We've been following these guys for 10 years, going toe to toe with Thanos. He's swatting these guys away like flies for the most part, and she comes in as the narrative is just disrupted completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, and since I've been I've been ignoring a lot of the chat, guys, just because we've been here having some great comments. I'm sorry, guys, but there are a couple I've been noticing, and Christy, I want to tell you that and not to put you on the spot neither here. And what's your real name anyway? Is that
Me?
too personal for me to ask?
No,
Yeah.
no. Everybody calls me Fox.
Okay, that
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
Well, that actually works with what I'm getting ready to say because Christy here says, I'll admit, Chris Evans is very pretty to look at. And I got to say, he's a handsome dude. He really is. Good looking guy. Although I didn't like that beard on him in Infinity War. I just didn't like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. They were trying to do that nomad thing,
But also I also wanted to say that aside from that, I mean, look at this guy over here too. Look at that dude, that guy that's you need to look in a mirror. Fox. That's why I'm saying that. Yeah, look at this guy too. Look at 19K. This is a good looking dude too, right? Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm pointing the right way. Look at this son bitch right here. Look, good looking man. Okay, East Coast, West Coast, 2 sexy beings right here. Sexy sandwich.
And another one I wanted to address was Captain Marvel is actually here in the live stream. Holy crap!
I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was here.
But Captain Marvel, I just wanted to let you know, I liked the movie too. It was not the greatest movie. It wasn't the greatest movie out there. It's probably a little less than midway down in my ranking of Marvel movies, which I've never done that video yet. But I thought the movie was okay. Now, the one thing that at the time when I seen the movie, I wasn't really into the character, so I didn't know a whole lot about it, and I kind of got I kind of learned a little bit more about the character as time went on, and started understanding what a lot of the people who like the comic books started having problems with, and that kind of goes into like what you're saying about her being so OP in the movie. Was the argument could easily be made that she's that way in the comic books too, but again they brought her in and wrote her that way more recently as well.
Yeah.
Whereas before, she was just Miss Marvel and and things like that. So I completely understand people's criticisms of it, and I've actually got it. Man, I need to make that video of a way that I believe that they could actually fix some of that character's lore for some of the people who actually like the comic books going forward.
Right.
Um,
Right.
because there's something like Young Ripper 59 even said, talks a lot about, and just because it happened in the comic books doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be in the movie, and just it could be that they took something from a comic book that they eventually did and just and
Yeah.
adapted it into a movie, and that doesn't necessarily make it good. But also, the one thing I've always said is like I don't want direct adaptations of the comic books into the movies neither. But he's even got an argument against that, which is most of the average audience out there don't read comic books, so
Exactly.
they would never know the difference, and they would like what they would get out of that adaptation from
Yeah.
the comic book as
Yeah.
well. And I'm like, that actually makes sense. The only people who would know what's coming is the people who read the comic books.
Sure. Well, I think you use the proper word there is adaptation. It's not, you can't just take the comics and put them on screen and call it done. It has to be adapted for film. It's a different media. So I totally agree with that 100%. Actually, Young Ripa is the one that sort of gave me my education on the character. I didn't understand truly the depth and what had actually happened and where she came from. I didn't really know that Monica Rambeau was the original
Right.
until I watched his videos. And so then that adds another layer. The fact that Monica is just a child in her movie, it flip flops, which I guess is okay. But if it's a comic book movie and you're trying to bring a new character in, some of those viewers are going to be original fans of the character. You're going to need to get some of that stuff correct. And I think
Right.
that I'd be interested to see your video too, because it's tough to fix that, because and then you have Marvel and
Mm-hmm.
all of that and how that was completely changed and everything. So
Yeah.
I agree, you have to adapt. Obviously, it's a different media.
Mm-hmm.
Change stuff. You're gonna rock the boat a little bit, but I think there's probably a way you can do it that's gonna strike a chord or a happy medium, I guess.
Right, and I've got to say, just like you, I mean, I think where I kind of got wizened up to, like the lore of Captain Marvel as well, was from Young Ripa's, just all the videos that he did, and a lot of people he gets a lot of weirdos coming at him, man, but I kind of got some of my education there as well, learning about that because like I didn't know, like I was reading Captain Marvel comics, like a series I did read that I actually thought was pretty good was The Life of Captain Marvel, which is just like a 5-issue miniseries, which is
Yeah.
funny because Marvel somehow seems to be able to do absolutely great miniseries that are like 4 or 5 issues long, but some of their ongoing series they just struggle with. And so I got some, I read Life of Captain Marvel series, and I was like, I actually liked this book. That was actually a good series. And then the new series started after that, with Kelly Thompson writing. And I started reading that. And I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. It's just not that great neither. It
Yeah.
doesn't like when I read it, it doesn't like reel me in. It's not the first comic book I want to read, and of course, not every comic book's going to be that, but it's just not. There's not a whole lot of meat and potatoes to it, and but that's where I started getting, from Young Ripa. He was, coming out and criticizing some of those things and talking about the character, and that's where I was like, okay, I need to look into this character more. And I started getting on, like Marvel Unlimited and reading some of the past comics and kind of learning a little bit more about the characters and things like that as well.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
where I kind of started to realize, like, I think if they, unfortunately, they probably would never hear me at Disney or anything. I think there's a way for them to salvage some of the things that they did with the character in the movie to maybe bring some of the fans back in, because some of them were tuned out because of what the star of the movie said in the
Right,
press.
exactly, yeah. Yeah. So and some of that you can't fix, but I mean, it's in my professional, in my job, I respect knowledge. So you got guys like Young Ripa, you got guys like Lord Callus that you go to for that knowledge, and that really sort of opens your eyes to other issues and problems. So once I personally got past some of my superficial stuff and started to dig into the lore, because I'm not above, like, I can be corrected. I mean, you could tell me, hey, listen, it's not, that's actually, that's actually the way it is in the comics. And I understand that I'm ignorant in some ways. So if I was upset about something, but then I'm corrected by someone with knowledge, okay, I can modify my opinion and I'm good. But I think that there's people at Marvel that they're either missing some of the knowledge, they don't have that, or they're just disrespectful of it and they just don't care. They'll just flip some stuff around to fit a narrative. Because I say, like in my videos, if you're going to gender swap or race swap or whatever you're going to do with a character, any character, I don't care who it is, I only have one question you have to ask, and it's why.
Right.
You want to have a white Black Panther. Why? Why are we doing that? And if your reason is agenda, you're wrong. If your reason is issue 47 in 1973 did this, and okay, source material. Okay, you honor. Okay, fine. That there's a reason there's a real good reason to back up what you're doing. But to just do it because of superficial garbage, it's just, I have no patience for that.
Yeah, and I agree. And I the more I started really getting into comics, the more I really started to realize that, because and that's the thing with any of us in our fandoms is you get your favorite, your thing that you love so much, and then somebody goes out there and does something to it, and you're like, man, like, this isn't right at all. This just isn't right. And like I totally get that when people kind of get caught up in that. The only thing I feel is sometimes I feel, and I'm sure I do it too, is we get too caught up in that, where like we all kind of feel like a studio or something has to like cater to us and what we want specifically, as opposed to maybe like a broader audience, which is by no means an excuse for them to do what they do, neither.
Sure. Well, I think, and that's a really fair point, and I think that's, for me, that's second viewing. First viewing is all knee jerk, it's all reaction, but you're right. You take that second look at it, and if you're a rational human being and you're not so caught up in your own head and what you want, you look at it and say, well, okay, maybe I don't like that, but, and then you fill in the blank. Well, I see what they did there. Okay, this, and if you go back in the MCU movies, there's changes they made back and forth, but you kind of, you understand it for the most part. They honored the character, and okay, let's go with it. So I think it's, but what you're talking about is a rational human being, and that's not everybody's like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy how so many of these things are just, I don't know. It's just that the world we live in now, where everything's got to be this or that, the checking of the boxes and all that. And the funny thing is the we see people upset about it, but I notice the people who get upset about it the most are the people that they're supposedly checking the boxes for. Those seem to be the people that are the most upset that the boxes are even being checked. And to me, when I see that, I'm like, that right there should let you know that you don't have to check those boxes. Just make a good movie, and if you're gonna do something, do it for a good reason, and at least explain it, so people understand.
That's a good point. I mean, it goes back to the why question. Why? I mean, really slow down and ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Is it to meet some social need or appease somebody? Just make your movie. I go back to, I don't know if I'm sure you have, the Blade movies from 98 and on.
Yeah.
That first Blade, the first and second one, the third one, those movies, I freaking love them. And that predates The Matrix and all that. Wesley Snipes got no praise. There was no social uprising. Look, finally, a black, lead in a superhero movie. None of that. And I think for me, I mean, nobody gave a damn. It was like, hey, this is a cool movie. Yeah,
Right.
he's black, but the character's black. Oh, who cares? It's a good
Mhm.
movie. It's cool. He's got the sword. He's got the, he's throwing, he's killing people. I mean, he's killing. It was a neat concept, and it was a great way. I think we saw for the most part the comic realized visually, in a way that was stimulating, and you had the vampire craze going on. And it was just a cool movie. The second one was good. There was no social layer to it. It
Mhm.
was just, here's a good movie. Awesome. That's it. And then later on, we get into all this other stuff. And then with Black Panther, and it got all its praise, which a lot of it was justified. But the whole race thing, I think it's injected for no reason. Because, and I'll bring up the Blade stuff because that's the example. I mean, we're past this.
Mhm.
We're past this, and if people would stop and open their eyes, and you're talking about the boxes that people are checking, take the
Mhm.
boxes and throw them away. They don't need to be checked.
Right.
We've been there. We've done that. Look how great things are. Let's just appreciate great art. For what it is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And the other thing is like I don't know, sometimes I don't really feel like I, want to be catered to neither, you know what I mean? It's just weak. And of course, a lot of the argument comes down to, and this is something that even young Ripper pointed out, is a lot of people say it's for the kids. It's for the kids.
Man,
They need people to look up to. It's for the kids.
that's
Which I find absolutely ridiculous because, like, for me, and this goes to sports stars, movie stars, anything like that, comic books. I look to these people for inspiration. I don't look to them for role models. My role models were my parents. You know, they're the people that raised me. They're the people that I, kind of molded my life, and they're the people that I hold my standards to. Like I feel like I do. I feel like I do a good job as a parent. And a lot of people say, "Oh man, you got the best kids," and all these kinds of things. And like me, I'm like, man, I don't even know. I can't, like, thank you, but I'm shit. You should see what my parents did, and I'm not a great reflection of that.
yeah. Dude, no, I 100%. I same thing. I had the example. I had parents that gave a shit, that they went without. My dad would, he didn't go. He didn't have stuff he wanted. He sacrificed for the family because it was not because there was an award involved. It was the right thing to do. Same thing with my mom. And it sounds like you and I kind of had the same, example of people that just, yeah, we're just gonna do what's right for the family, and that was my example. But like, I've got a jersey of Emmitt Smith.
Hmm.
I'm a Cowboys fan. He's a black guy. So what? So I'm a white guy. He's black. So I can't identify with him. That's ridiculous.
Right.
I can look at anybody's success and say that is amazing. I watched Wonder Woman when she's got the shield, right? You know the scene, right? She's got the shield, and they're firing that gun at her, that Gatling gun, and she's sitting there just. I thought that was one of the most badass scenes I've ever seen in my life on film. It's just like she is taking all this on so that everybody else can go and flank them and take them out. I thought that was, and she's a woman, but
Yeah.
I looked at that. I thought that was great. I identified that's heroic. I would want to exemplify that in my life in some way. So to say that you got to look a certain way or be a certain person, you got to check a box and quotas and all that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I think heroism, I think good attributes, it doesn't matter what skin, what gender, whatever. None of that shit matters. I think if it's there and you provide a great example of it, everybody will identify with that and strive for that. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely agreed. And um, ultimately, it just comes down to having well-written characters. Somebody taking the time to actually sit down and really think things through. And ultimately, that comes down to. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a writer, but I mean, just think of your own life experiences and apply them to something in some sort of way. And and again, bringing it back to it's for the kids argument, and and us
So
and us
stupid.
us having like like the similar upbringing where with the parents there and everything. There are plenty of people out there who come from broken homes and things as well, and there's people out there who would probably hear us talking about that and be like, oh well, not everybody came from a home with their mom and dad around. But you know what? Like, I've met people. I personally know people who came from broken homes, whose fathers were pieces of shit, or whose mothers were pieces of shit,
Yep.
or just came from, or even been orphans and things like that. That are the greatest fucking people in the world. Um, and I'm not sure if that's just because that's what they went through or what the deal is, but I've met some of the people like that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like you're a fucking saint. You know what I mean? Like you're somebody I look up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so it's something it's really weird, and when people make these excuses for why some of these things, it just seems absolutely ridiculous to me, especially in the world we live in, where we see so many people from different backgrounds everywhere doing good things and being successful. I think a lot of people end up being their own roadblock.
That's a good. That's profound, is what that is. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And I think, when it comes to, when they're doing, like, whether it's movies or whatnot, the checking in the boxes, I think a lot of that stuff actually cripples the world and actually is a detriment to raising good kids or being good people and things like that. Um, it's just not good. I mean, just something I've talked about here on my streams before too is, like when I was 15 and I bought my first car. I was paying insurance and just and all that stuff. I had my first
Yeah.
job. And these days, a 15-year-old kid can't even get a fucking job. And I'm like, what kind of world are we living in where a kid can't even get a job? Like maybe back home where I'm from in Kansas, you could still get a job helping a farmer out. But these days, I don't even know if that's even possible.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous to me. Like, when people look at things like, I know a big thing a while back was, like Teen Mom. You know what I mean? Everybody sees this Teen Mom shit, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, these women are so bad. My grandma was pregnant with my dad at 15. You know what I mean? The world has just changed in so many ways, and I think that's due to the world crippling us, or just the world, because people, 100 years ago, they were a lot younger and they had their own homes, they had their own income, they had their own trades and things like that they did before they were even in their 20s and stuff like that.
Right.
Just the world, and maybe some of that's due to technology and all of those kinds of things. I mean, I'm sure somebody has some sort of excuse out there for it, but me, I just think like it's we should still be there. Like, once, and again, not everybody is always mature enough, but again, I think that's something that we've actually done to the world as well. And I would say I can't say necessarily we, because I'm not sure that, I mean, I'm 40, so I'm kind of at the generation where I can't necessarily pass the buck off on somebody else, because somebody came
Right.
before
Right.
us that set that up, and
Mhm.
now people that are my generation and younger are continuing that and just making it that much worse as well.
No, I agree. Well, it seems like you and I have a similar background. I'm 43, and I grew up in rural East Texas. I mean, you're talking about Kansas. I mean, I think we have in our family. I know in mine. My grandmother would tell me stories about. I mean, she remembers when there was no electricity.
Right.
I mean, and I don't know that kids nowadays could even understand the gap we're talking about. No electricity to high speed internet. I mean, it's insane. I mean, to go from those perspectives. But I mean, you're right. It's like, at what point do we get out of the bubble that we protect? I mean, you want to be safe and you want to protect people, and we have vaccinations and we have all these, but at some point we shelter and bubble wrap everything to the point where people are so afraid to get not even physically hurt anymore, just offended.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
join the army. I spent 4 years in. Go join the army. Go join the military. Go live a little real life before you decide, what really matters. Because somebody said something mean to me on Twitter. Who gives a damn?
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, that is vapor. That
Yeah.
is nothing. Somebody may left a mean comment on my YouTube video. Who gives a damn? That,
Right.
in the big scheme of things, that doesn't matter. And you're right. dude, man, yeah, at 15, I was thinking about it 15 when you were talking. It's like 15. Yeah, I think I had a car, I had a job. I mean, I was, at 15, I was driving, and I was working every day after school at the, I was bagging groceries, and I had a car. I think mom and dad maybe gave me some beater or something. And I remember me and my dad had to paint it. It looked like garbage. I mean, you do what you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's yeah, you're right. It's a different world, man. Different world.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just sad. So I guess getting back into the fandoms and everything. I mean, did you
Yeah.
you heard about the Gray Order thing, right?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah, I did. Yep.
And I'm sure like I said, I've seen other people reacting out there differently to it. People like in the fandom menace and stuff. Like, what's your take on, like, what do you think about? Because I'm not sure how much you know about it or anything. And it's really not much other than it's just content creators and fans who want to be positive about things even while being critical.
Right,
And
right.
I've seen like a lot of pushback from some members of the fandom
Uh-huh.
menace, and I don't necessarily think that they feel threatened. But I don't know a
Well, they
different way
might.
to. I don't feel a different way to describe it.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, I think it's fair to say that some people might feel threatened. I mean, but to be fair, that's what happens when you put out like rhetoric, like when you have like a persona, like when when it's not you anymore,
mm-hmm.
and it's there's something else. Well, it's like the same thing I talk about in movies. When you're pushing an agenda instead of character, um, I think you have an issue now, because now you're not dealing with source material. What you're doing isn't rooted in some sort of history, being the comics in that example. You're pushing something different.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on YouTube and it's not you, it's a persona, then yeah, because now what is that based on? It's based on, I mean, whatever you thought in your head at the time. So yeah, I think some people are probably threatened, but that's maybe because they decided they were gonna. I mean, there are some people out there that push hate or negativity. I don't want to use hate, but let's say
Yeah.
negativity.
Yeah.
They want to be negative. They want to push it to get the views or for whatever reason. And I'm not judging them.
Yeah.
That's
Me either.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's your decision you made. But I thought so. Yeah, I think those people should maybe be threatened, because the reason I sort of joined or whatever, signed up or whatever, I'm in the Fandom
Yeah.
Collective.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to say negative stuff about Disney Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
and have somebody to talk to about it, and to
Right.
let's discuss it. Let's so in my mind, when I heard about the Gray Order, I thought, well, that's what I'm in now.
Right.
I mean, in my head, I thought that's what I was, because, like I said, there's no card. You don't go to like meetings every week. It's like it's like, I don't know. It's not like a structured deal. I wanted to be able to talk about it freely, because when I was in Collider comment sections, I'd get ripped apart, or I wouldn't get noticed, or I'd just nobody wanted to agree with me, because like, no, what are you talking about? Last Jedi is a classic. Okay, I mean, I'm just not getting it, and I wanted to be able to talk about that.
Right.
But I saw his video. The only thing I have to say negative about the video is that he painted everybody in the Phantom Menace as negative, and I thought, well, I'm kind of in the Phantom Menace. Yeah, I mean, if I don't like something, I say I don't like it, but I'm not just quote unquote negative. I'm a negative guy. I mean, I try to be even handed. I think that, like, with my 2-minute reviews, I want to quickly say, listen, this movie sucks. Don't watch it. Save your money. Or I want to say, hey, you might like this. Check it out. It's kind of a quick, what do I think? And my idea in my head is I want to save people some money. Just prevent people from having a bad experience. It's kind of my angle, but I'm not doing it to hate, to hate on anything. So.
Right. Yeah, and that's a fair assessment. And yeah, I think a lot of people just kind of pigeonhole things into those kind of groups. It seems like no matter what you do, somebody's gonna feel like they're being lumped in a group, rather
Yep.
rather real or imagined. And I guess that's just kind of the society we live in now. And I won't even say that it's offense sensitivity neither, because some people just take things wrong. They hear things the wrong way, and things like that. And yeah, like you said, I mean, there are some people out there that I see making videos, and I'm not gonna name their names. There's enough of them. I mean, I see.
Take your pick, right?
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
some of the people out there who are not genuine in their videos. Like, I can tell them, like I kind of like you're just doing this video and talking about this stuff just to get clicks and just to get views or whatnot. And I feel like I feel like just be more genuine. Just be yourself. If you don't like it, that's okay, but be genuine. Don't you don't have to copy everybody's content. You don't have to do it just for clicks. And as a matter of fact, I know my channel suffers for it, but I kind of do everything I can to keep away from a lot of the clickbait topics and the hot topics and things like that when it comes to certain things, because I feel like there's a lot of other people out there who are better at it than I am, and who are bigger channels who get the attention for that stuff. Like when it comes to like the Marvel leaks, the MCU leaks and stuff like that. There's people out there that actually have contacts in some of these studios or have a friend that works for them or whatnot, that gets leaked information. And like, I can't compete with that. I don't have those friends. So basically anything I'm getting is secondhand information from somebody else that got it from an actual friend. So mine's third-hand information, fourth-hand information, and on and on. And so I feel like I don't need to make that video, but I will talk about it, but not in a clickbaity way where, like, oh, the new Phase 5 MCU Marvel leak and la la la, just like
question mark, yeah.
Keanu Reeves is gonna be in Moon Knight, confirmed.
What?
Like, there's a lot of people who get a lot of clicks and views off of that stuff, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to criticize them, even though I actually, and that's another thing. I guess we could get into that too. Is a lot of times people have their egos, man. People get such huge egos here, whether it's on YouTube or just even on Twitter and things like that, whatever respective community that they're in. Just people get these huge egos, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And like, especially when it comes from somebody you're not expecting it from, because like one day I even did a stream about it. I tried to call this guy out because I'm sure have you ever heard of Cosmic Wonder?
I don't know that I have. No.
He's one of these guys who does like a lot of the leak videos and stuff like that, and he's got a huge channel. He's got like 500,000 subscribers, and he's got like 500,000 subscribers. And one day I made a tweet. I tweeted out and shared a tweet of a Den of Nerds video and said something like, "Hey, Captain Clickbait is out there talking about this all this kinds of garbage junk. You should go follow the Den of Nerds and get it straight." And War Stew, I'm not sure if you've heard of War Stew, but he went out there and retweeted my tweet and tagged Cosmic Wonder in it. And next thing you know,
oh jeez.
Next thing you know, this guy starts messaging me on Twitter, talking shit to me, saying, "Oh, like all you do on your channel is fucking call people out and all this and that, just trying to get attention. I can see from your subscriber count that's really fucking working, pal."
See, that's just, when you're looking at your scroll, like subscribers mean anything.
Yeah, and like he just came at me, and I'm like, and and I knew who the guy was, but I basically told him like, "Bro, who the fuck are you?" Like you're not even on my radar, but like you just put yourself on my radar now. And like I said, I knew who he was, but like, who the fuck are you and why are you even talking to me? And I seen the tweet and everything. I'm like, oh, okay. Like this dude got butthurt over a fucking tweet that I didn't even mention him in. I didn't even mention him. Warster retweeted my shit, and I'm just like, yeah, and I was just like, whatever. But so I messaged him, and I sent him a message on Twitter, and I started a live stream right there, and I said, hey, let's come talk about it, bro. Yeah. Come on, that's you want to do this, you want to throw all this shade at me because you fucking got 500,000 subscribers, and I've got, I think at the time I had probably under 200. Are you scared to come talk to little old me on my channel where nobody will see it?
Well, I mean, but you and I both. I mean, I'm going to make an assumption here. If you got a problem with somebody, you probably just talk to the person.
Right.
So if I see something on Twitter or whatever, I'm like, I'm just going to DM you if we're following each other. I'm like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's be men, or let's be adults. Let's just talk about this rationally. But when you get all butthurt about a mention or a freaking retweet, it's like, how about you come to the source and be a man and say, hey, did you say this? And then let's hash it out.
Yeah.
But it's all that freaking, it's all the BS, man. It's all the, It's all the ancillary crap that doesn't mean anything. And at the end of the day, you called him out, and what happens? He doesn't show up.
Right.
Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
500,000 subscribers. If you have no spine and no backbone, I don't give a shit how many subscribers you got, buddy. Just go on about your business because I have no time for you.
Right. And then the funny thing is even after that, like lately, like I was like the same guy that retweeted the stuff, Warstu. Was like a huge supporter of his. Like I was a Patreon supporter. Actually, I was his only Patreon supporter for a little while.
Okay, yeah.
And I followed his channel, watched all his videos every day. He was a cool guy, you know. We got along and stuff. And then, you know, I gave him suggestions, just feedback, you know, on what I thought about his videos. You know, commented on them and shit. And then one day, a while back, guys, maybe about a month ago or so, he did this video talking about Spider-Gwen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and God, what's her name? Dove Cameron from Descendants and Disney fame coming on to be to play it, and I was just laughing. And one of the things I don't do is I talked about Cosmic Wonder here, but I don't talk about and share things that I don't care about. Like I just don't spread it out there. So I shared Warstu's video on my personal Twitter, and I was like, I said something about like, oh man, I remember back in the day, the conversation that was tough for parents to have was the birds and the bees conversation with their kids. Nowadays, it's about clickbait. and I shared his video, and you know it was all in jest. It was like funny, haha. Yeah, you could read it and see like, oh, haha, that's funny. And then I shared it with on my Second Street Marvel account, and I shared that out there, and I said something like,
I might have liked that or retweeted it. Yeah. Actually, now that you say it, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think I remember that.
And yeah, I shared it, and I was like, oh man, I tagged Warstu in it. I was like, oh man, Warstu, come on, dude, and then he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, dude, like man, like I don't know, like I could think it could happen. Like he's like, I don't even know what to say and all this kinds of stuff. And I just noticed like over the past couple of weeks, he just started kind of acting like a bitch. And I'm like, and I just told him, I'm like, bro, like what are you talking about? I said it was a joke. I said, are you just taking yourself a little too seriously these days? And then I explained to him that thing too. I said, I don't share stuff that I don't like. I don't share stuff from like We Got This Covered or any of those clickbait sites because I don't like them and I don't believe in sharing the shit. I was just sharing your video, and I said, but if you don't like it, I'll go ahead and leave you alone. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I haven't really heard from him since or anything. I mean, and I brought it up here a couple times on the show. And the thing is I bring it up because I think he's an all right guy, and a lot of people don't like the guy neither or his content. But like, I think he's an all right guy. But at this point, I was even talking to my wife about it. I'm like, dude, he's being a bitch. And even my wife goes, kind of sounds like he's being a bitch, all right.
It's bad when even your wife's like, yeah, he's being a bitch.
And I feel bad because, like I said, like I like the guy, he's all right, but like, why are you acting like this? You know what I mean? And I wouldn't even talk about it right now if I didn't think the guy was all right or anything like that. So it's like, I don't know. It's like you can't win with people, especially when they're like these people that have just like these huge fucking egos. And
that's the problem. Because like I said, just go to the guy or gal or whoever. I mean, if you got a problem, if you tweeted something about me, I didn't like it, I would DM you. Hey, what's up? And we can talk about it. But it's just the whole persona ego thing. It gets in the way of real conversation.
Yeah, it does, and it's sad, and you know, sometimes we all kind of play into it every now and again. I mean, hell, me sitting here even talking about it is kind of playing into all that shit too. Yeah. So, you know, I don't like to beat it up unless it's somebody, like I said, like that other douchebag who really had something to say. It's like, dude, come the fuck on, and then you don't even have the balls to come on and talk to shit because the reason I can guarantee you the reason he don't want to come on is like, oh, somebody might see that I'm actually a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
He might have to defend his positions that he doesn't really buy into, you know, because like you said, persona, right? Ego, you know? Yeah. And I don't want to paint myself as a saint either. I got my own issues and problems too. But
yeah, we all do.
You know, just, you know, you make a mistake, you say something wrong, you go to the guy or person and talk it out, you know, and then hash it out, you know, and then you can move on. But I don't know. What can you do?
Yeah. So, what I mean, do you plan on watching that stream tomorrow on Ryan Kendall's channel? Did you watch the last one?
No, I did tune in for maybe 5 minutes, maybe. I just don't get off on that. It's like you're not going to get anything accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you really want to get something done, this would be done privately. You don't
Mm-hmm.
do it. You don't live stream it. You two set up a StreamYard or whatever, and you two just talk it out behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you hash it all out, you can come and do a live stream and say, "Hey, listen, we had this conversation. We came to an understanding. We still disagree about this, but here we go, and we're going to move on, and that's it." That to me, and then you can have a productive conversation live stream that.
Mm-hmm.
This whole you did this, you did that, you hid your videos. I'm just like I don't.
Yeah.
I just really don't have any plan to watch it at all,
Oh.
man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And see, for me, I think this time, or at least the conversation that I think Jeremy and Josh will have, I think it'll be a little bit different. Because like I know on the last one, like it really wasn't that bad. It was just people just kind of there talking to Jeremy. The only one where it really kind of got out of hand was when he was talking to Mad Max. But again, that's mostly because Max threw us a lot of shade at Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers. So I don't really see that. I don't really see that happening, and I honestly think it's going to be a good stream, and I can't wait to see it because I think maybe everybody can get some stuff, just kind of out there, where Josh can talk about like, hey, like this isn't what the Great War is all about. We've had these problems in the past because apparently they've had beef before, and and obviously, Jeremy's probably going to air his grievances as well because
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
I honestly don't know what their beef ever was in the first place. Um,
Does it bother you that fans have beef with fans? Because if I have any beef, it's with the decisions Lucasfilm makes, with
mhm.
decisions that Disney makes. I mean, it's that's why I say anything negative. But to have another fan, like I would consider brother sister in the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fan. I mean, whatever. I mean, if I mean, I don't know about you, but I would have people growing up, and we would give each other shit about, or we would talk about this or that, or oh, you like that? I can't believe it. We go back and forth, but then we go get something to drink, or we'd have a coffee, or we'd go something. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It was just a disagreement. You gave each other crap about it, but you moved on. I mean, to have like beef to where you're dividing each other and forming like factions, and we're gonna have a war and all, to me that's a little. I mean, that bothers me. Does that bother you?
It does kind of because I know what you're saying because I mean I think it's bad like I think the one thing that everybody seems to forget and this isn't even with like the Gray Order or the Phantom Menace, this is even
Yeah.
this is all fandoms in general, is especially like say we're just talking about like Star Wars, the Star Wars fandom,
Yeah.
and like the divide between shippers and the Phantom Menacers, or whatever, even people on the outside. One thing I always say is, for one, does anybody ever stop to think what it looks like from the outside, what potential fans or anybody else like that just getting into the stuff looks at and sees when they see that? They're probably like, I don't want to be a part of this. And then the other thing that I kind of feel about that too is that I mean, just like you're saying, that like why would the fans fight over it? Why don't you just discuss it and it can just be that,
I mean, remember
that's
we were
it.
kids and like a new song would come out, like a single, and you would go get it, and then you had the one friend that thought it sucked, and then you thought it was good, or then the other person was like, well, it's okay, and then you would give each other shit about, I can't believe you like that song, and back and forth, but that was it. I mean, you went you went on. I mean, it was no big deal.
Right.
You ribbed each other, but that was it. I mean, that's where I think that the fandom should be. We didn't like form freaking like a fort. Like, okay, you're pro Backstreet Boys or New Kids on the Block, and I'm negative. I'm against the New Kids on the Block, and now we got to kill each other. It's just stupid. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Yeah. And I'm the same way too. And the unfortunate thing is not everybody feels that way. And at some point, somebody always feels attacked and feels under threat or whatnot. And I always just think the other thing that everybody just seems to forget is, especially like say the Star Wars thing in general, or even the MCU, because there's even divide in the MCU community as far as some of the stuff too. Is, can we all just does everybody seem to forget that we're all just like fans of Star Wars in the first place? We got some common ground here. We're all
Yeah,
fans.
yeah.
So can we start there and
Mm-hmm.
then move on and just try to hear each other out? Um, because it's not the end of the world. And I've said this before too, is they're just fucking movies.
know their life. You don't understand.
Right. And apparently, and that's what it is. Like maybe I'm just not nerd enough, you know? Maybe I'm just not nerdy enough.
Maybe you and I are the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm not ready to slip my wrist for Star Wars Episode 9. I'm a problem, I guess. But I just you're right. You're exactly right. Where's that common ground? Find a common ground and go with that. Are you pissed off? Yes. Why? Well, because they did this and this. Okay, cool. Let's talk about that. I mean, I think personally, like with MCU, the fact that we had 10, actually 11 years of a solid run, even though I didn't like the character of Captain Marvel and what they did there, that I don't even think that's ever going to be recreated again. The fact that you had that much of a cohesive storyline that took place over that much time, and basically every movie was a positive. Some weren't as good as others, obviously,
Right.
but for the most part, they were all positives. I mean, that's insane.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. And I think that's kind of a mistake that like Star Wars kind of made, or Disney made with their Star Wars franchise. Was it seems like they tried to take it the direction that the MCU did, where the MCU, I mean, they're coming out with movies like every year now. And, because Kevin Feige was there masterminding it, he built this whole world, introduced these characters, and it started off slowly. But then, we started getting a couple movies a year, then 3 movies a year, and now, we're getting so much content. And I think they tried to do that with Star Wars, and it's kind of backfiring. And I think that's a mistake because that's not how they built their following. That's not how they built it. It was time. There was time in between all of those films. It wasn't with an oversaturation of content, even like they're getting now. Like even with the Mandalorian coming in and any of those different shows, it's kind of like, is it still too much? Maybe spend some time crafting the stories and building the worlds up in a better way. So and even kind of like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, was that today? Was that on this stream or was that this morning? About not doing basically doing the test runs on the films and all that stuff and manufacturing something basically and putting it out as opposed to just
Right.
making a movie and putting it out there.
Right.
And
Right.
laying your chips on the table and bam, there it is. What do you think about it? We might make a better movie next time, hopefully, based on the feedback of this.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head because these movies came out with 3 years in between them. I mean, it's just like you had a movie and you had to wait 3 years for the next one to come out, and then 3 years for the next one to come out, and then Disney buys it and it's like boom, but we're gonna have an episode, and we're gonna have a standalone, another episode, and bam, bam. Every year you're gonna get some Star Wars, and then you're gonna get TV shows, and it's just an oversaturation where I think the rarity of it made it desirable, like gold or diamonds. There's not a lot of them out there. It's, if they were all over the place, okay, well, it's gold, it's kind of yellow. I'm not really big on this, but because it's rare, that's why it's sought after, Same thing with these movies. I mean, we had to wait how many years before the prequels came out? I mean, 97, 99 was the first one. I mean, good God. I mean, and there was nothing. There was a drought between them. But the fandom, the Comic Cons, all the toys. I mean, the merchandising. People just ate that up. They were just craving it, and that alone kept it alive until those prequels came out, and then Disney, eventually buys it. And I think that's why some of the fans get so hurt because they feel that personal connection to it. They feel like, hey, listen, I've been buying this crap for decades at this point. I've only got 6 movies out of the deal, but you've got all my money. I've been so invested in this. When it doesn't go my way, that's why I get so upset. But
right.
I think it's just, you can't just, not everything needs to follow the Marvel template.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And and to me, I mean, kind of like exactly what you're saying is something my mother always said when I was growing up too. Especially like when you're a teenager, you get your little girlfriends and stuff, and you're on the phone all the time, and just all that kind of stuff. I
love you.
Something my mom always used to say is absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I think that's the same thing applies towards our fandoms as well. When it comes to some of the films and stuff like that. And I almost wonder if maybe Marvel's going to run into that same problem in the MCU with pumping out too much content. But I think, I mean, I think that could happen, but at the same time, I think they've just got a vast array of characters to choose from that they can kind of change it up and switch it up a whole lot. To where they have different content that appeals to different people for different reasons and all those kinds of things, which ultimately comes down to why they never need to tokenize characters or anything like that as well, because they have the catalog of people to do that with.
Exactly. I made the case a while back. I think when they first announced the Phase 4, I made the case that they should just reboot, because you just picked up with the Fox acquisition. You picked up the Fantastic Four, X-Men. Why not just Endgame was the end, right? So let's just reset. Let's start over in a universe where X-Men exist, Fantastic Four exists, the Avengers. Everybody's there. You don't have to cast everybody right away, but you start over in this universe where everybody exists, and then you move forward in that way. Now you've got to move forward with a story that may include the X-Men, but you don't have Iron Man, or you won't have Captain America, or you won't have, well, we still have Thor, but it's like, why limit yourself in that way? Call it done, right? End game is end. We got Tom Holland on the bubble anyway. He's about to leave and not be Spider-Man anymore anyway. Shut it down, start over. And then you just, like you said, that they've got almost all their characters back, and then just pick and choose which one you want, and then just tell a story exactly the way you want to, with almost no limits.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. I highly agree with that. Well, hell, man, it's been nice having you on. It's after 11 o'clock now. We've been going for several hours. Want to thank you so much for coming on to the channel, man. It's been a great conversation. Finally, good to finally like really kind of interact with you, man. I mean,
yeah, I know. I've been dying to get on
here,
here, man. I watch your shows as much as I can. I've been dying to get a hold of you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on, and go ahead and feel free, plug your channel, let everybody know where to find you.
Oh, okay. I am right here, 19K Fox on YouTube. Swing by, check out my stuff, check out my channel. Let me know if you like it, and if you feel like you want to see some more, hit that subscribe button. And I love to have conversations, interact. I'm a small enough channel to where every single comment on a video I'm reading, and I'm going back and forth with everybody. So yeah, stop by and check it out. I appreciate it. I'm also 19K Fox 1 on Twitter. Hit me up. Once again, thanks for having me, Trini. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And thank you all, guys, everybody who's been here tonight. I've seen, man, you guys have been really active in the chats. You guys are absolutely fucking awesome. Anytime that you guys get on here and watch my streams, I truly appreciate it. I mean, it really means the world to me. And please, anybody, just like 19K Fox is saying, if you have any criticisms, please feel free to leave those in my comment sections in any of my videos. I'm totally open to it. And, sometimes I'm an asshole. Shit. I'm sorry. What can I say? What can I say? And like I said, if you're not subscribed to Mad Max, if you're not subscribed to 19K Fox, make sure you go to their channels, check them out, subscribe. You don't have to stay subscribed forever. Just subscribe and check them out and leave them some feedback. And if it's not your cup of tea, hey man, I don't think anybody's going to hold that against you. No, none of us are going to lose sleep at night. That's for sure. But thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel tonight. And if you haven't already, again, subscribe. Interact with us. Let us know. You all have a good night. Have a great week. Have a great, weekend. And we'll see you all in the next video. Later.